Good morning. Good morning. They're on their own today. Uh-uh. Okay. All right. Hold on, guys. There's something being delivered today, and George is still asleep. One second, guys. I told him not to. One second, Bo. All right, guys. Hold on. All right. All right, guys. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Now, all right. So, guys, we have a good show today. Or there is a good show. For some of our regular members, we had advised that George will be coming on and off. And we mentioned at the end of the year we'd be slowing down, or aka George will. So you're going to see me doing the live streams. So in saying that, you will be seeing he's editing Ricky videos now, and you'll be seeing our outings and all of that, and he will appear. Um, So today I'm going to discuss a guy without a plan. Okay. And if you guys want the link to this guy's channel, I'd be more than glad to send this to you after the show. But you guys may already know who he is. So I'm just going to go by the guy's first name, which is Scotty, not the Scott that you guys know. And this guy has the worst plan that I've seen yet. Okay. At least the guys that end up homeless here that lose absolutely everything started out with sort of pension, sometimes pension and social security. Sometimes they came with a bunch of money and then ran out of money. No, not this guy. The guy's actually a nomad without a plan, and YouTube really is his only money. He claims that he's doing other things. I'm not buying that. But he's basically just wandering Asia aimlessly, just because he's basically saying he couldn't cut it or make it in the US. And so when I went through his page, I was just trying to find, what is this guy doing for a living? What is this guy doing for a living? And I kept hearing things about, I thought he was a I thought he was a trust fund baby or something. And yes, Tony, you said it. The guy is a broke gambler, and he doesn't even have Social Security. So this guy's been gambling. I think he said, let's see, 25 years plus. That's been his plan back in the US. He wins, he loses, he wins, he loses. And so now he's just wandering around Asia. And in his vlogs, to me, he's like the Elliot Eastman of gamblers, because really his channel is just kind of all over the place. And he just kind of talks about little things like, look, I went to the market and I got bananas. And a lot of it is vlogging that I wouldn't count on making any money at. and no SSI coming. He already said that. And he's 51 years old, and he came over and said he had less than $175. That was it. No other plans. And I think the only reason why he's mentioned an attorney or anything else is maybe he left some of the money with an attorney. Maybe there's, I don't know, or maybe he just uses that to say he's got the attorney part of it. But nothing, nothing. This isn't even 20,000. This isn't even 20,000 in the bank. This isn't a low income Social Security. And the place he's living in now, I took some footage of it and decided not to use it. It's just crazy. I can't even begin to tell you that he's living as cheap as possible, and he's having water issues. And his last few videos are, I get people who are doing stuff for content, shock value content and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to cover this guy. But this guy is covering, oh, I'm going to be homeless soon. I'm broke. And so he calls himself the Broke Expat, but that's not the name of his channel. I still can't believe that that's what he's doing. And he came to a country where gambling is like the worst. So I don't know if he's doing it all online. He probably has done a combination of online and at the casinos. And so we'll get into that topic today. And which brings me around into David Campbell. Still no word, no update on David Campbell. And I went and looked at David Campbell's departure video, and I wish I'd have watched more like his last day with her. I mean, we knew he left. I watched her live stream, but I didn't actually see him get on the plane. And there's some real issues going on there. He mentioned that he gave Rose like most of the money before he left. She gave him half the money back. She helped pay for the ride, which probably indicated gas. But to me, it sounds like the way they're splitting things, like splitting. I don't know if she's living in another house. This is just me guesstimating. But if they're splitting and giving back and all of that, is she just a caretaker at this point, or what's actually going on? So, but no word from David. And there was a whole conversation at the airport about they had it on air that he need to go smoking, and she's hoping that it is the hospital he's going to and that he doesn't do anything else. It was a hint at his going to the casino. So who knows, but nothing from David. So unless she did another live that I didn't see, then who knows? So that's the discussion today. Is the guy couldn't afford the U.S. He couldn't cut it in the U.S. When me and George left, we knew that it was expensive. George was working full time, had a business. I was working part time as a driver. We had money in the bank. We brought money here. We still have a slight amount. At least we had some plan. And we always tell people, please have some sort of plan, at least a steady Social Security. And then you have guys drop in with none at all and just savings. But the guy was like, oh, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just kind of baffled at this point, because there are people out there that feel that showing up in Asia, period, or traveling overseas without any money, insurance, or any backup. Like right now, at least I have my Medicare and a supplement, and I have a side insurance that'll pay for an absolute emergency. So I have an outside coverage that covers, I think it's up to 100,000 US. So if I need heart surgery in an emergency and show up, then my insurance will cover it. I have to show up at one of the big hospitals, like I would have to go to Clark or whatever, but the individual I pay for, but at least I have something. There are people that don't have anything at all. They cancel their Medicare. You just have to make that decision. I can't see risking that for, having no, kind of like every man. He stopped his medication, or certain ones, as I'm to understand. And so people are just rolling the dice all the time. And some people plan fully through and they have absolutely everything. So it's kind of hey, undesirable expat. Ted is in the house. MB is in the house. So let's go and say the hellos and go through a discussion. Hello, Philippine Antics Squad. Timothy is in the house. Good morning. Hey, Ted, what is going on? Yeah, I contacted Ted and just said that George is burning the candle at both ends. And over the last year or two, we discussed, it was almost the same time last year. Like we get through the entire year. And last year, we took a break at the end of the year and we started to do it this year. And then I just told George I'll just start doing, quite a bit of it. And he's been doing the gaming AI channel for a while, and then he has another job. So it's just he's burning the bridge when he literally is sitting here. He is only on 2 or 3 hours sleep. And so it was either give up the channel or actually continue. So, but you still see him. But yeah, I let Ted and a few of the moderators know what was going on. And yes, Civil Center. Don't understand the reference to it, but been on air for 4 years. Got a Google Manager. We're the only ones with the Google Manager. Sure, we're still on air. What do you think? It's so good to have you guys on live stream after a bad day. Hey, what's up, Max? What's really going on? Let us know what's going on. And I just want to let you guys know that, let us know by messenger or by email. It's there. We've always had our Philippine Antics at Gmail. It's there at the end in the description. It's in the description or messenger on Facebook if you guys want certain topics or you guys have information, like any updates and stuff. We get it all the time anyways. It may take a few days to get through it, but we definitely want to hear from you guys. And used to take some polls. We might start doing the polls again and everything, but you know, it's a way to reach out and communicate with people because I told George, I was like, with him working so much, and I really had to think about this with him working and with me, just if I didn't do the YouTube channel, it would be just different and empty at this point. I know it's kind of weird to state it, but I have to say it out loud. But um, I've been doing it so long with George, it's just become a part of our life. Okay. But at some point, life doesn't stand still and it doesn't continue the same forever. Like the Gia and Maya breakup, like things that go on. What is the other one? The Garcia family or the Armstrong family. They break up or other parts of their lives happen. Or you have the other vloggers where their wives have a channel and then they have a channel, they do it together kind of thing. So I started telling George, I was like, yeah, there's no reason to totally slow down. If you're busy, then I'm already doing the channel. So, and it's a way of, I was trying to figure a way to say it today. It's an interaction thing. So people gotten so used to seeing us or me, or so I'm just happy to be here. Still going to start stuff. At least I don't have a sidekick here, moderating me. Can't stop this train. So I am still here to irritate people. Uh, so more expat YouTubers are getting it wrong than getting it right. Yeah, but let's be honest, none of them have financial education and will eventually go broke. Yes, and I think most people, I've seen the most well planned out vloggers or that are showing it because that's usually who you guys see. And then you got the ones that are off air. And the country, although their numbers don't really reflect how many are here, it does seem like a substantial amount. And I'm believing it's because most of them are vlogging, like they're carrying cameras or you're seeing their footage all the time. Where if you had 10 expats, two of them were holding cameras a couple years ago when we started. And it was like a different world. Now everybody is so deep into social media, they'll deny it, but they are. And then they're so deep into this vlogging and everybody's picking up a camera. And then it's like what we did. They say that it's just for family. And then next thing you know, it's always a camera. And then a couple years ago, we sat the camera down because for those that have been with us, we carried that camera around and you guys got a video every day plus 2 and 3 live streams a week. And we were burned out at that point. It was really a major burnout at that point because we spent our days doing us, living through the camera, and then both of us were editing at night. He was editing the video for the next day. I was editing one to put on that night. And it's a burnout factor. But the thing you won't see is where people don't have it right. A lot of them just totally risk They burn all their bridges in the US. They burn all their bridges with their family and any way to actually go back. We have sold everything, but we have people there. We have friends, we have family. So it's not like if a total emergency came up that we could never go back. So we have that opportunity, both of us. And a lot of I just don't get it. Is it desperation? Is it, because I don't know. Um, I really, I kind of do, but I really don't get why, especially this guy. And every vlog, I believe it the way he talks. He really doesn't have, he's living in like the worst possible condition house. And uh, our place is about as bare as I want to go. Okay. Which means I'm not in a fancy subdivision. I'm not, staying in a place that's, you know, there are more modern than what we have. So it doesn't have like guards sitting at the two entrances that are here or anything, which doesn't really make it super fancy. But the new modern condos and stuff have a little bit more amenities. Like we had to install hot water heater. We don't have any pressure of the water, so we had to install something to actually push water through the house. So, but the rent's $185 a month. Okay. But I can't see going to a certain subdivision and paying, say, 1,000 a month. That doesn't make any sense either, and that's low end for some of the subdivisions. I'm not paying 1,000 a month for something that has the same size, and it's just not happening. Um, but my mind is still boggled about this guy, and he brought one of his really super bad habits here. Not eating donuts and fast food. The guy actually brought the habit of knowing he was a gambler, and I just don't get it. So, ready for semantics. Bracing for a major snowstorm here in Ohio. You missed those. No. I started putting the weather in there because I was speaking to my insurance company in the United States over health assessments and stuff. And she was in Florida and was freezing. So, yes, when it hit 50, it was freezing for me, and I almost froze in Mexico at 50 and 40. So, just because I'm a big girl doesn't mean the cold weather doesn't go through me. I thought the hot weather and stickiness was bad. Yesterday, we had a 12-hour power outage. So pretty much I did a recording, ordered some drinks. We cleaned up outside, cleaning up the e-trike. So we did some deep cleaning, got some good sweating going. And it was like, wow, we should get out more often situation because we have the AC in here and everything. And so that's another issue is the power outage. But no, I mean I don't think I could ever do the cold weather again. That is for sure. So yeah, broke gambler guy. Yeah. I I I guess he ain't the regular guy because he's from Canada. Yeah, I don't I that part I didn't catch. I know people will say that I'm boring when I talk and they can't stand that I rant and this and that, but if I have to say as a person that's ADHD and can't stay focused and anxiety that I couldn't sit through the guy, kind of like Elliot was hard, Elliot Eastman was really hard because of the type of content. I sat there and like during no point during a few videos did he ever say what was going on or it was hard. But I still could not believe in the end that he isn't even going to get a social security check and he's just I don't know. It's really bad. It's one of the worst cases. Even homeless might be a better situation because the place he's in is so broken down and he shows it and it's really broken down. It's like that guy that was living out in the province in the all brick house and everything. He's in that same, he's paying the cheapest rent, which is another thing about these guys. When they get here, not all of them are dating, they just run right out in the province, which brings a whole nother set of problems. And I don't think everybody's built for the province either. I say when you guys come here to retire or live here or visit, you make it as easy as possible on yourself. So I would agree. I would agree. At least here, I might break out and say something stupid, or might be stupid on top of stupid, might slap George. I don't know. But I get it because, you know, I look back at our old content and look at it now, and I actually think some of it's really super boring. And it's it's how you actually vlog, but we're not scripted like the Filipina P or some of the others that are down to doing interviews and are so seasoned in it. We're just basically living the live stuff on air now. And I couldn't sit through the guy. I mean, all he was talking about was simple things like, here's my drink. And I mean, that was kind of my intention for the other channel, just to, if George was sleeping and it was an in-between day for Philippine Antics, to put something out to you guys, like the pets, or I'm supposed to start going to the market individually and learning more of the language, starting weekly. And so I plan to put that on. But this guy wasn't even that. He was just, it just seems like his entire life is based on being super lazy, not planned, and you know, ah, mm. So I just, yeah. So I'm here for boots on the ground and raw facts. Try to, yeah. I mean, there's, I feel these days there's very few genuine channels that aren't being real about things. Are we giving you guys everything? Yes and no. Like our super, super, super personal life, like additional things, medical that I have. Like if me and George had a fight 3 days ago, or if we, went to this store and go there every Tuesday. We don't give out locations that we do on a daily basis. So some of those things we hold back. But I call BS very quickly on what's going on with Gio and Maya. I think they're both capitalizing on their breakup. She covered it forever, and then he went through and said something, and then they got back together and did their own video together, and what he stated to me didn't make any sense. And then today he's on Old Dog's channel, and Old Dog hadn't seen him forever, and he said it, I knew it's probably been years since he sat down. I don't have all facts, but I knew it had been a while too. And here he is on there again. And so it's like, that to me is super planned, and him saying that people just break up. Oh no, if me and George like break up, I'd be on here like I was that one time. Sorry, George left. He's over at his family's. This is what's going on to some extent. Okay. I'm not gonna give you like the dirty. But I'm not believing for 1 minute that it was simply because he rekindled something with his kids. He went through his own comments and addressed troll comments. And basically, he's like, oh, it isn't because she got her numbers, which she did build the channel based on them being together. Her numbers did grow. It doesn't mean that was her intention. He said she had a business and her own money and she could have afforded to do anything when he met. And so he was addressing people. And then on top of that, his final thing was, it was because I'm getting to know my sons again. What does that have to do with it? I mean, it does and it doesn't. If your relationship is strong, why would it fall apart based on you getting back with your kids that were in the US? He hadn't been in the US for a while. I know he went back once or twice since they've been together. So I did hear other things, and we did mention what others were saying. They're saying that she has her own addictions and issues and other problems, allegedly, and that there could have been altercations between the both of them, and then they just broke up. And I'm like, could this actually have been? So I don't know. So after hearing the thing about his kids, it just doesn't make any sense. So I think they're just Hollywooding it up. So, and that's where there is on that. So there's your Geo and whatever, but who knows? I don't know. Going on there. Do we have footage from the? No, I'm not putting you. You know why? Because there are too many butt hurt, and George isn't here to stop me from saying this. I get tired of George doing this because he thinks it's meaning something. Because I don't care. I know what we're doing is correct. So we know when to put something on air and when not to. And it's a, situation that this guy is so desperate. If I put even a clip up on him, he's going to try to hit us for content. So I'm not even going to bother on that guy. Some people know that it's a rule that if you use each other's content, you just let it ride. As long as it's in some form of context and you're not talking about family members or showing family, like as in your mother and all these different things and personal information and social security, that stuff is good. You're supposed to leave other YouTubers alone. It's just a bare courtesy. Snitches get stitches. Okay. But in a case of some others, they can go in and try to report. It's got to be a video. Even if you guys do the talk over, they can get on top of you. So even if you do it legally, there are some people that are just butts and they try to get you in trouble for it. We've never been hit in 4 years, and I'm not going to start. Okay. But this guy to me seems so desperate. Okay. That I felt that if I use clips to talk over today and he's seen his own photo today, he can't stop me from doing that part of it. Because it's a group conversation, it's an overall situation, and his own content is out there. But to use it, I feel this guy would take the time to hire an attorney, and he would at least report it. And punk ass. That's what I felt would happen. So, I will tell you, I don't have to use his content. His name is Scotty Bear. I wasn't going to mention his name because George usually is like, oh, like that. And the reason being is we only people that have been with us for a while or work in collaboration or these other things do we actually sit there and, besides doing coverage on them, and that we actually know, like, we have, Scott in the world as I see it. Now he's got his fiance. We have True that comes in our room. We have Sunshine Shoulders. When those people legitly come in, we don't mind doing a full shout out. George just feels it's helped growing some of the other channels, and I'm like, I'm okay, but and I don't know. I don't trust this guy any further. He's just got the worst plan possible, period. And you can't get blood out of a turnip in a lawsuit, and he can't really sue. Yes, it's just where it is. But no, his name is Scotty Bear. How he made it to 7,000 subscribers is beyond me, but the guy has thousands of videos, thousands. And he does he claims he's a social media manager, and I have no idea. Scotty Bear. Who knows? Yeah, no idea. I follow this guy kind of by accident, no plan, just tries to live on gambling. Well, I'm assuming, or I said that he's probably living on his YouTube money. But he already said that he's a digital nomad. Everything that he makes is what he's actually making right now. And as of yesterday, he's talking about he's broke. So evidently there's no other money coming in. Just because someone has 8,000, 7,000 subscribers doesn't mean that they're making money. And just because they get 3,000 views doesn't mean they're making money. So the average YouTuber that gets a couple thousand views on each video, depending on where they watch, is going to make 200 to 500 a month if they're doing other things with memberships. So looking at that channel, I don't know where his viewers are. He can't live on that for just YouTube. And I'm sorry, looking at his channel, I can't see that he's doing anything as far as managing channels. I don't know. But that was what he said. And who knows if he's still doing that online. I'm not sure. So okay, he's just DD214. He's talking about Central Indiana. I just mentioned who that is, Dan. Sick grandpa. Dave said he wasn't going back to the Philippines probably because he wasn't getting a happy ending with Rose. Dave. You'd have to indicate who Dave is. I know a couple Daves, but there was something really off. And another question I had this morning about David Campbell is something that me and George discussed yesterday. The I'm not doubting that David how disabled he is, and I know a few of our watchers had mentioned that one week he looks more disabled than the other, and it could be just based on what he talks about. He's a smoker, he's, a stroke patient, he's his diabetes, all these things can change different situations, but I notice some days he's a little bit more not able to do things, and then other days it seems like he could. But the day that he left, Rose had to get him up out of the wheelchair. So I'm curious how he got through the airplane ride. They only take you to the airplane. So how did he go through and sit down in the airplane, get up out of the airplane? I mean, I've used a wheelchair one time. Nobody got my wheelchair out. So it's when I went through one of the airports, it took George to get the wheelchair because my legs were so bad at that point. And so I don't know how. So are they just feeling bad? And they didn't hire somebody to go. So I'm wondering with him being that physically bad that morning, her showing him, getting him ready, I don't get how he made it physically. And they don't babysit people that have medical issues that bad. And so she had to fully care for him that morning. So I'm still curious on that. So I'm wondering if it's all BS to get donations. Yeah, I'm not sure if that is based on which person. Is that Gio and Maya, or are we talking about Rose and David? And the reason I'm going to go back to Rose and David, and I was going to do some audio clips on that, and I was like, I'll just talk about it. David, right there in the airport parking lot, smoking a cigarette, was discussing, hey, be sure to give her sticker money. And he didn't mean that sarcastically, as in, hey, you've been after my woman forever. No, right in the middle of discussing money and travel and all that, he said, hey, be sure to give sticker money. And then several people sent us messages, and I mentioned in the one live stream that she kept saying in her lives, hey, I'm not asking for sticker money. And she kept saying that. And it was like hey guys, don't subscribe to this channel. I don't want you guys to subscribe to this channel. Don't make no comments. Don't do nothing. It was kind of just a reel off thing that she said it, but she then typed it and left it pinned in her description about the same thing. Don't bother giving me sticker money. In a roundabout way, she said, don't give me no sticker money. All I ask is that you're watching. I'm not asking for any money. And I'm like, it's just kind of, so I kind of made a joke about that the last time. So zero empathy for expat gamblers, super old lazy guys marrying younger women and lady boy lovers and all that crap. I do want to say that here's the messed up part that I got into deep thinking this morning. What's really messed up is everybody sees any American expat or expats period as money. They already assume, and there's guys that take advantage of that. Mike, MYK, used to talk about that. And they come here, they're like this guy, they have some credit cards, they get money, like some will live on the lowest end Social Security. And on that amount, if they even buy them, one meal and stretch out the dates, it looks like they have money. And there's a way of doing it. Like when somebody takes somebody out in the US, of course it costs 10 times more. Here, if you just take them to the mall and buy them a boba tea and walk around, and then only spend an hour or two with them and stretch those dates out, hint, hint, and then take them out somewhere else and buy them, say, an outfit. An outfit's fairly inexpensive for a Filipino, okay? And you do these small things, she will think you have money. And these guys are allowing these women to think that, and they're hooking them in, and then they're finding out they're broke. Some actually don't care. They think if they have kids, just the whole thing's crazy. But I feel sorry for them because some of the guys are hooking the people in, and they allow them to believe they have properties back in the U.S. and they're living some double agent life and leading these women on. It's really, really bad. So, Anton, good morning. Good morning, Heidi. I just found out you have another channel. All the best. Happy New Year's to you and George. Yeah, I mean, we actually have multiple channels. So the other one has been around. If you look, I think it's been around for like 2 years. We just renamed it to the American Woman Expat because uh, it's already got the pet stuff. It used to at some point had where last year I started cutting out on sugar and I've lost like 18 kg this year. So I don't know, that's somewhere over 30 pounds. And it's, I was like, no, it's just going to be a hit and miss. And so it has been. And I figured if we're already going to be recording our everyday life with all of that stuff, then I'm just going to put it on there because this channel was meant for the live streams and expat help. And so I'll kind of be using both channels. But we have the two music channels and there is a gaming channel. That's what George has been working on for over 6 months right now. I think it's been about 6 months. So, and if anybody knows anything about gaming, um, it is very time consuming. It is very time consuming. When we first met, that was one of the issues with our relationship is he was either working or gaming. And so, yes, we had where we went out to concerts and did things, but if we were at home, you couldn't, it was like earth to George. So, but I just realized it's something that he enjoys. So I'm not, you know, but yeah, so the channel's been there. It just got renamed. So good question, John. Philippine hospitals will accept U.S. insurance. Okay. We've covered this before, but I'll answer it real quick. They do. It depends on what insurance and what coverage you have. There is under you can get a set of insurance like I have that covers X amount. Like mine will only with a larger deductible, which I have to pay, mine will cover along with my Medicare, but you will not get somebody to just take Medicare. So I was telling George that it depends on what you have. So then, yes, there's a lot of people that buy and arrange and take supplements with their Medicare, which requires additional payments. And but most of these guys are canceling their Medicare, so there's no option to even do that. So my plan right now is what it's been. It's been self pay, maintenance, and the other part of it that we were going to do in a few years was add Phil Health because it pays like 30%. But here's the thing that's usually only for emergencies, also. So then there'll be one for George to use. Besides that, it's self pay. So, but as far as Medicare being accepted direct, the answer is no. You have to have a separate insurance policy to cover that. So, and it depends on the hospital. Like if you went to St. Luke's, I almost said St. John's, St. Luke's, and then the Clark Hospital here does, but you have to make sure that they actually do. So it does, but not all. Okay, Bear in the Philippines said, John, no. It does. It depends on the U.S. insurance you have. So mine will, and it's a U.S. company. So I already checked in with Clark and everything else. So there's just a higher deductible. I want to say it's 500 on one situation and 1,000. And the other is there's several companies that are out of the US, but very rare do they do it. And if they do, you have to pay up front and be reimbursed. And that may be an issue because I asked him yesterday, I was like, do I have to pay up front? And she says you shouldn't have to, but and I'm like, oh, okay, I hear the but. We've heard people having to be reimbursed on top of it. So I guess it's better than being in full debt. So what's the other ones that cover that are in the US? I mean, that's the whole point of the travel insurance, and some guys sit on it for 6 months. And so the answer is yes, it does, but not all. Yeah, you said Bear. She said she'd go to Clark. Yes. Online work. So online. Most of it is online. So George licensed himself years ago. He used to hang the license. It just wasn't for the YouTube channel and owning all he is the owner over all the channels, and he has a business where he can do online stuff. So he sells things, he deals with Amazon, he deals with Lazada, and on top of that, now the gaming channel is very productive for him financially. So, I mean, we're not like rolling in the cash because of it, but here's the thing. It's a changed country. When we left 6 months in Mexico, we went from the United States, went into Mexico, waiting to enter the Philippines. And after we did that, since we've lived here for almost 4 years, the costs have substantially rose in the last 2 years. Rents, some medical, the food, just everyday costs. That's what's actually costing us is everyday life, like, outings, travel, hotels, all these items are really starting to add up. It's twice as much for us here than it was in Mexico. We didn't think it would be that much. George didn't know that it would be that much. And it's not like it's terribly expensive. It's just that one, um, it's a way for us to actually put away more savings and be a little bit more responsible. So it's where it is on that one. So online, he's licensed to do online sales and social media and everything. So yep. Well, yeah, John, there's international health insurance, and she lives near Clark. And it's the same with Makati. I believe there's two St. Luke's. They accept a lot of American insurances. So most people, all they got to do is find out if their coverage covers outside for the first year or whatever. Others cover longer, like mine does. And so, um, but it's not, you don't get to use it for medicine. You don't get to use a lot of them. My coverage isn't. So others, it actually covers other things. And the problem is with my medical conditions, I have several medical conditions. It's almost impossible now to get any insurance. Forget that I'm overweight, that I'm obese. I mean, it's no secret that I'm very big. And we're not talking like so big I can't go nowhere big. No, I'm it's the lupus, it's the cancer. I um well, the knees actually don't qualify, but even being 40 pounds overweight, you could be disqualified at my age for insurance. So for multiple reasons, they won't cover me. I had major pre-existing, and so there was just no way. Every time I've attempted, and I laugh because one time I put my weight in kgs, and it really freaked them out. They're like, "We're going to bring you in for a medical exam," and they was like, "Are you sure that's the right weight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And then I realized it was in kgs, and so it was really bad. But pre-existing, I mean, people are only denying if they think they're going to get it. If you guys are at a certain age and still fairly healthy, that's why I recommend Michael Onstad, because he can set you up with insurance in here that you can actually use, or at least get you patched up to get you back to the US, keep the insurance policy for a few months. And he's really, really good. He's been doing it for a while. Yeah, there's plenty of them that do. Retired military has Tricare accepted in the Philippines, so yes. And so Tricare is another one. Yeah, I don't know where it would come around that American insurance or U.S. insurance isn't accepted. If you're asking about directly just Medicare, then the answer is no. That's where you're probably getting information. We've covered this throughout the years about insurance and people saying that you could use one type or you can't. As a matter of fact, there have been several channels in the last few years that said, yes, you can just get Medicare to pay for it. And I got it. And it's like one person said that. And I think there was an exception. It wasn't a norm. Kind of like when we discussed the banking, it's like it was just an exception that they actually covered it. In general, Medicare is not accepted here. And so you have to, and if there are policies that you only had in the US that's only, you need to make sure they can be used internationally. That would make a difference. So it's a very broad, which type are you talking about? Is it just, and even then I wouldn't actually know. So simply social, not today. We've done one. So if you look up under Philippine Antics, we can, and we did. I can add that to a topic. I have not been to Thailand, but I will let you know just the basics. A lot of people like Thailand. They said the food was better, cleaner, the infrastructure was cleaner, some of the hospitals were better. They enjoy. There's a lot of female expats that are going there versus the Philippines. The only reason we wouldn't decide on that is the language barrier. And George, that's the first thing he goes, I won't even deal with the language barrier. And we both don't want to be on visas. And so I'm getting ready to step into the second half of my 13A. And I'm not going to, after spending that kind of money and going through all the documents we had to produce. And one of them we had to get it apostille because it was the pandemic and we couldn't. We got married during the pandemic and nobody was apostille no matter what. And we couldn't get it done in Mexico. And then we put it off and then it cost me $500 to get it done. I'm not starting that all over again. I'm tired of like throwing away that kind of money. So that's another thing and plus he's set up to do business, which is doing the taxes for social media. And we're not going through that all over again. So for us, it's a no, but they're saying there's a lot of good and a lot of people like that it's cleaner but they said there are some bad areas there too. So correct, not everywhere. Tricare, not everywhere, is only accepted at certain hospitals. Yeah, and certain insurances, no matter what country it is only at certain things. And that's why people really need to consider where they're going to live. That they really do, because a lot of them are like, oh, well, I'll just live with hardly any money and run out to the province. Then you run into another set. They didn't think about the cars, the transport, the social issues out there. They try to ride around on a motorcycle and it's dangerous doing that. And all these issues come up for living in different areas, but medical will become the issue whether you're here or there because of, like that, the insurance being accepted. Yeah. Those are the hospitals. For an update, hospital listings, check with the RAO office in Angeles City. Don't take somebody's word from a chat room. That is true. Don't take it from anybody. I just was reading somebody that was looking for medical advice the other day, and somebody goes, dude, why are you even asking in an expat forum about, it's crazy. And the whole topic was about HIV and somebody going and getting kind of like a morning before pills or something to take care of it in case you got it or had it or to prevent it. And I'm like, I wouldn't risk it in any manner. And then somebody went through the whole topic that if whoever has it is on pills and on these regimens and it's been X amount of years, then you shouldn't catch it. I'm like, why do you guys even roll the dice? I mean, you're talking about somebody you're just meeting. We're not talking about a long-term relationship, male or female, female and female, male and male, where you guys are intending to marry and some other stuff is going on. No, they're just talking about raw dogging it down on Angeles City and that they just want to know basically if they're going to have to deal with anything if they take this pill. And somebody says, why are you asking the advice here? Somebody said, buy a condom, dude. And I'm like, hello. And so some days I don't get it. I don't get it, but I am starting to get it. We were discussing the deal about why these guys are sending these girls so much money. And believe it or not, I try not to think about stuff. May not think about it before I say it, but I try not to go that deep into things. And as far as why they're doing it, I figured they're just idiots. The amount of money or why they would give up this type of money to, it's not based on the person, it's just the whole ideal. And I've mentioned this, I think, in one or two of the lives, the thousands and thousands that were given up to the Filipina P for handing out X amount of bags during Christmas. They just sent her a crap load of money, but they sent her the money anyways. And then they did it with that Barbie girl off grid or something. She literally made thousands in her room every time she does. Well, that's because she's sitting in a bikini. And it's like, but why? A lot of these guys are broke. They don't have money. And I listened to this guy the other day, and me and George was discussing this last night. Another topic, I was like, why? It's because they're looking for that dopamine hit. I just want to get the point, say they're idiots, but there really is a scientific, psychological breakdown of these guys that are doing it. If somebody's just helping in general, like, and they want to, then you donate direct to the charity. You don't talk about it, you just do it. These guys are going in and they're shooting her up just like they do with Rose, thinking they have a chance to interact, to mingle, or to date or marry him. And some even with their husband sitting there, like David, or they do it to irritate David. Way to go. You got him all stirred up and everything. And it's about the social media thing. It's they spend all day wandering aimlessly online, like the guy that got taken for the money from Rafi Tulfo. He's a lonely old man that's looking for some attention. So instead of getting straight to the point and rubbing one out and going to a XXX site, they think they can hang on some cheap situation like this and drop a few stickers, get their attention every time. And it's just some sort of dopamine hit and whatever. And it's what the guys are living on. But I know some of them are with that white knight thing or, save a hoe situation on some of them, the ones that are just aimlessly dancing or cooking all day and all of that. And it's like, understand these girls don't care anything about you. They're just doing it for content, money, feeding their family. Most of them have kids. So you can't blame them for getting their situation on. As a matter of fact, I applaud them for doing it. It's the guys. It's the guys that are losing the money. It's most of them are broke. And so they're running it up on a credit card. Some of them have other bills and responsibilities. Some have young kids and responsibilities. And they get that hit, feel they're interacting, and then poof, it's gone just as quick as the next thing. So I guess it's a win-win for some people then. Yep, of course. Of course. But here's the thing, Bear, most of them will. And we're not talking about like things where like they see us physically going down to the Angel City office and all of that. Because here's another thing, stuff changes all the time here. Like during the pandemic, everything was changing. Immigration changes all the time now. And definitely what happens in whatever area, like Angel City, immigration will not happen in another. Because now is the time for the next 60 days. To go and do the report, the annual report. And uh, people need to check in to see if they need to go in there and do that. And I just sat down exactly January 1. The video's on the other channel. I can answer questions about that today because now I fully went through it and the woman answered a bunch of questions. And only certain people are. And then after I went through a full explanation, we had somebody that asked, what did he ask? He said, so does that mean that people over 60 and under 16 and all that, they're just exempt? That means they don't have to go in at all. I'm like, no, I stated and even typed it on air. I was like, it means exempt from going in, but you still have to report. And in this day and age, for the most part, people should just do it online. What it is somebody already made the comment that in Angel City Expat Forum, they're not going to pay the extra 500 pesos. And I'm like, so you're going to use the gas, the time, and all of that to go down there and wait with 40 other people to file over the $10 fee. And it's not even $10 right now. So it's easier online. You get to speak with the immigration office. I mean, if you want to go to the mall and go shopping and you're already going to be there, that's one thing. But if you really just need to get out of the way and you're already disabled or older and that's what you're trying to avoid, you're going to need to prove that. If you're sending somebody, then you have to do the power of attorney, send somebody down there, and you're going to need some sort of proof that you're sending with them. So you might as well at that point go in unless you really just can't go in. So I know David sends Rose and stuff. So, but good morning. Is that Tervis Motley. Am I saying that? Traveris, sorry. Look who's here. It's all Tweet. What do you want, Tweet? You gonna talk? What do you want? Are you trying to say hi? She's been sticking by my side. What? What's that? Why are you staring at my coffee cup? Huh? You like that cat? You like that cat? Well, you want? No, you want some coffee? She's kind of weird. I forgot what she went to go attack the other day. I think it was a cat on our sound channel. There's a cat in front of the fireplace. She'll keep probably trying to jump up here for the rest of the live now. Usually she's asleep. Ricky is not here anymore. He quit again. You'd have to watch it through. I'll repeat it a few more times. It'll probably be me you're seeing in the live stream. So we discussed in the last few months that George is in and out. He's working, and we had even discussed at some point possibly even giving up the channel and Philippine Antics itself. And at that point, it's like, if he's busy, or like now, he didn't even go to bed till a few hours ago. And really, his interest is there and he loves the people, just he can't keep burning the candles. So he's doing that to save money. He's working, and he has been for quite some time. So I will continue the channel when he's not around. We have Ricky videos coming out. He just recorded some recently. Also, he's been rekindling. I've told you guys that his uncle, his daughter, the family. And so just busy. Same life we would have in the US of me going and hanging out with my family. And then the same with Filipinas, with their spouses here. They go off and do things. So it's just basically we're just living life. So, but he'll be back through. But there is Ricky videos coming. So Heidi, you're a natural born entertainer, and we appreciate your honest, no sense, keeping it real and raw. I'm about to choke that cat. George isn't here, but I'll choke that cat. If you don't stop, Tweet, stop. No. Are you talking back? Huh? Are you talking back? Girl, she's watching the monitor. There's another monitor. Are you talking back? Can I smack your lips off? You want me to smack your lips off? You know what? Hey, this one is really special. She's real special. So is that puppy. You want to come say hi, Mary? You want to come say hi? What? Now what? I swear we have ghosts here. We went through that whole topic about a year or two ago about ghosts. Before we moved into this house, they're claiming there was somebody that said there were entities in here. This is the only cat we've had that'll just midway just stop, and it's not flies either. She just stops and stares, and it kind of freaks me out sometimes. But I'm like, if there are people here, they're here. I just ask that they are not like peeping on us in the shower or something, like George or something. Hey, what is going on? Happy New Year's. Hello to Heidi and gang. Happy New Year's to all. 2 weeks of provision. They're talking to each other. Oh, okay, so PH Expat Prepper in the house. Good morning. Yeah, and just let me know. For those that have entered, we're in the first hour, going to go into a second hour of the live stream today. Basically, we have an expat. His channel is called Scotty Bear. I came across it and looking up any updates on the Campbells and David. There is nothing additional put out. I think if there was, Rose would have said. Again, that woman is a saint, because again, when I was sitting here cleaning, organizing, mopping the floor yesterday, I'm like, I wish somebody would do that for me. It's just, so I'm kind of like at a point. I get George, but the roles are still there for me and George. So basically, George has his online stuff. He goes out. I call it the hunter gatherer situation where, we take turns on stuff. But for the most part, I'm cooking, cleaning, dealing with the pets, ordering stuff, organizing. And no, she's a saint for taking care of David. And I get relationships are going to be hard. Me and George go through all this stuff of up and down, and I know you do. But then add on top of it could be really double rough because of his medical conditions, and then she's taking care of him and being cranky all the time. And I get cranky, I get it also. But then something like that, it's just like I told him I took that wheelchair away from David. But PH expat prepper, I think everyone should have a month's worth of prep minimum. We used to in the United States. George, when I met him, had months worth. He had shelves and had no, I'm not dealing with you. Get down. See, she's trying to get up on the desk and she'll hit the keyboard. You gonna come up here again? No, no. But here it's a storage thing. I'll be talking again, probably dropping the video on the other channel about, us having inexpensive rent. But even if you pay good amounts of rent and have an oversized house, there's not a lot of storage cabinets or anything else. So we bought a bunch of additional cabinets to put stuff on. And then I tried to make it where it's the outside room that's kind of like the dirty kitchen, but it's 90 something percent closed. The food cans within a short period started to rust, and the rice bags that are fully sealed, not they're the plastic ones, the boll weevils got to it outside. And so it started to turn to mush, and not mush, but it turned to where they were eating the rice. And George, I was like, well, did they get to it because it was outside? He said, no, they start inside of the rice bag, and usually people eat it before they form. And so being it sat out there for 2-3 months, that happened. I was talking about it, but so we do keep some. Like we have several things of like peanut butter and things in case it happens. But what's really hard here in the Philippines for most is things like what just happened. You got the mudslides and the storms, and people move and then have to take that. I would just find things like we have. We got like the soy flakes that you can use. Girl, I'm gonna smack your lips off your face like a snake. She's messing with me right now. You playing around. You want to start? Huh? Yeah. What are you? Hey, what's wrong with you? What? No, don't touch it. And if I tell her no, then she takes that last risk of no. I said no. What? Don't touch the mic. It's not time for me to hold you. Okay? Okay? Okay. No, don't touch the mic. You're the one that tore up the red one. Detract your nails, girl. Now go on. Here, lay down. Lay down in the cat bed. Where was I? Smacking the lips off the snake. Okay, I'm gonna lock her in with George here in a minute. But yeah, prepping isn't ideal. I just don't think with the storage. That's why we were semi purging and cleaning yesterday. There is no closets. There's no like anything you have. That's the one thing I miss is true space, like to put my towels in. They have built-in cabinets like the ones upstairs. We have one in each room. The one room is meant for storage, so I don't even get to use the other one. But we have the one in the one room, but it's kind of like a cat room and a guest room. And that's the only one cabinet that's actually built in. And even then, the doors really don't shut well, and moisture and all that can still get in it. It's just not good storage here. Maybe he feels like she is using him. Are we talking about David Campbell? Did I miss that? I would agree, Salem. Good morning, Salem. Geo is insulting people's intelligence, and they're getting good. Some of them channels in Dumageddon and in some other areas, Cebu, the vloggers, it's like I just don't get it. On the other hand, as I'm to understand, Baby May, they lost their mother unless they're they the gene the um unless the sisters have two different mothers or something. I'm to understand her mother had passed away, so I know that's very. I feel for her on that, on her loss. My mother passed away when she was 50 years old. So officially, with me being 53, I've lived longer than my mother. But my mother also had lots of medical conditions, which I inherited, by the way, autoimmune issues, cancer from my dad, and all that. But I was mid 20s when she passed on. So it's I feel for her. So I just wanted to say on that manner. But yeah, what's up with that? There was definitely something going on. And if I'd have had true facts that I could actually see in a video, like the Garcia family, there's a video out there right now where he's going off on her and stuff over child support. And I wanted to get into that. I might actually still cover that. I'm not going to keep fighting you, Snake Lips. I'm telling you. Didn't I say no? The cat bows up on me. Like the more I tell her no, it's like George is like, "Did you say something?" You guys think it's a joke with George. You think it is. Somebody was like, "Go ahead and blah blah blah," and me controlling George and all that. And to some extent, it's like George is a good worker and he cleans and he does these other things, but George wasn't really meant. He's good. He's a good little gamer, is what he is. So I'm not holding you forever. What do you see what I mean about her staring? What are you looking at? There's nothing up there, by the way, guys. What are you looking at? And don't touch the mic. Don't touch me. I said no. No. I smell my finger. Smell. Oh, that's anyways, speaking of entertainment. So, anyways, back to jail. What's up with that? They broke up. One of the reasons is they grew apart. Sorry. I mean, I get looks aren't everything, and I'm not saying she's not. What I'm saying is she's not ugly either. And you often wonder why somebody's with somebody. Someone may look at me and say, "Why is George with her?" And then I've had other people, even with me, say, "You're with him." And it's like, it's odd, but it's like you're supposed to stick it out. He didn't stick it out at all. I was surprised when they got together, and no surprise they broke up. And with the outside rumors coming in of what was publicly partially known about their relationship, I'm like, he wanted to get to know his sons again. Uh, I mean, I'll let you know right now. I have kids. George has kids, and I love my kids and my family. But I did make my priorities with my husband. Okay, so um, it was like you make that dedication, and it's kind of like that sinking boat situation. I get it, but his kids are they should be adults by now. I've been here 4 years. They are ready, as I'm to understand, were so they got to be older teenagers by now, if not adults. I'm not sure how old. Does anybody know how old Geo's kids are? So he's got a wife here, and if the marriage was good, you do it. If there are other problems, okay, use it as a side situation. But they lost me when he went around and he sat down with her again, and then he just sat down with Paul. I like Paul, has nothing to do with Paul at all. Paul just got his content where he was supposed to, and it's part of the YouTube thing, and he does great interviews. But he's sitting down with everybody like it's. I mean, I guess it's kind of doing the Chitlin circuit or something. You're just gonna go around, get your stories, and go around and just do a full actual tour, man. The crazy Chitlin circus. Oh my God, I don't know. I wish a bunch more stuff would happen with these expats so I could just have one full show of a Jerry Springer situation going on. Casey's like, I have a couple pot pies. I haven't seen a pot pie. When I was growing up as kids, my mom, like on the weekend, would actually just do that. It would be like a free for all just to make them, but we had to put them in the oven back in the day. They didn't even have, of course, the microwave ones. And we had the TV dinners. So we used to think we was hot crap if our mom just let us have a bowl of cereal or that so she could especially after she would have a kid or something. It was like a lazy night or something. But no, here I haven't. I'm sure they had them. I didn't look for them at Landers or SNR, but we don't have an oven. It's not common in all the houses to have ovens either. It's like we have the stovetop thing, and we've had a microwave. So, and at that point, it'd probably cheaper to see if somebody had one. That is true. Lots of simps watch YouTube, Salem. I mean, like I said, basic word came to my mind is they're just idiots. I mean, I've done idiot stuff and all that, and it's quick to just quickly judge and say this is what's going on. They're just stupid idiots. It pretty much just rounds it up for a quick. Um, it's a very quick way to put somebody in a box without explanation. I mean, he could have more issues, but the fact is it's all about the dopamine, the high, the whether they could be depressed, could be they've been on the internet all day, could be lonely, and that's another thing. Loneliness will hit you in the Philippines. Loneliness or boredom is a thing. So, um, you know, no couple is stuck at the hips together here in the Philippines. And I am at home a little bit more for multiple reasons. For those that know me, in the United States, I didn't go out a whole bunch. Like I had the holidays. I'd go out and do things with kids. Me and George would go travel. We'd go to the mall. We go out to eat. It's the basic thing here, except for now. Diagnosed with lupus about 5 years ago. I have the SLE, and it really does affect everything. If I'm out in the sun too long, my skin starts to break out. I have kidney issues. I have asthma and breathing issues. It's caused weight gain. I'm on steroids. The steroids are causing other things, and so there's a lot of things going on with that situation. And so I stay home part of the time. I'm not bed bound. I'm not really house bound. I just, I sit in the air conditioning, do my thing. I cook, I clean, I spend time with the pets, I go out for walks, I go to the market up the street. I do these type of things. But in the United States, it probably wouldn't have been much different. Same here. Life still goes on. People go out, do things, and so but these guys are lonely and bored. And when you get over here in this country, some of them actually just stay hidden in the houses. It looks like they're all out doing something, but then I give you the example of the guy at that they found passed on at the Cebu condo. Looked like the guy had not been out in weeks. I mean, I mean, I couldn't see it. I could not allow. For me, I've got to take the trash out when it starts to partially get full, and I have a daily routine, and that's just who I am. But this guy looks like he was afraid to leave his house. And some people get here and they're just here for the cheap rent and the ladies, and then they go home at night, drink, and wake up and repeat and rinse. So I saw where he said he was using credit cards. So, yeah. Oh, you're talking about the guy that we're talking about. Either way, I know based on his content, which is mostly what I'm going by, and I couldn't sit through all of it this morning, is that he calls himself the digital nomad. I know he says he has an attorney. I don't know why he keeps talking about the attorney. And that he used to have a storage facility. He let it go. I know the house he's living in, he's having issues in water. I know that he says there'll be no Social Security. He arrived with 200, but after spending something on food, he arrived 18 months ago. I wrote it down here with he had 100, less than 175 is all he had altogether. And that he's a nomad with no plan. I figured he had an attorney that was holding some of his money in banking because he said that they could get a hold of his attorney in order to whatever. So it sounds like maybe he's put some money aside, and that's why I thought he was a trust fund baby. But that's still may not even save him if he's broke all the time. He can't have a trust fund and money. How's he affording the attorney? Now, what could it be that he's one of those that are just duping people on the channel, living that way just for content? Because I'll tell you right now, there's a few channels in Japan where the guys are claiming they're homeless. It's like a new trend, and I've seen them in the US. They claim that they're homeless just to do content, and they actually have somewhere they're living. So I think it's kind of crazy. Is this guy that he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and possibly he's living like that because he's trying to live the other life? I'm trying to figure it out. Why? Usually, when you're super broke like that, you don't have what he was talking about. But no SSI. He's saying for 25 years he's been a professional, you know, gambler. 51, no plans whatsoever. He's had issues. He's lived in Cambodia, Thailand, and he even had some legal issues there. So something happened. So I don't know if you fill me in on what happened on there. Yes, I'm curious on that too. Why do Filipinas tell their foreign boyfriends and husbands that they don't want kids and then all of a sudden change their mind? No, I'd agree. Yeah. Um, I will let you know, it's no secret that George has been married before and I've been married. And one of my marriages, that's exactly what happened. It was my second marriage. I had two kids. He was well aware of the two small kids. Seemed to be great with them, and he was. There was never any problem in that manner. But the one thing he knew that I couldn't do was have kids. I'd already had my tubes tied, two kids, being responsible financially, wasn't like rolling in the dough. Nobody was going to help me in my family. So I had to be responsible after I was divorced at that point. And he was like, okay, what happened 7 years later? He said that he had to have kids. We traveled to Egypt. He's seen his family with the kids. And then after that, he literally came home busting my chops about kids. We have to have kids. We have to this. And I'm like, I can't have kids. And so I was stupid. I went and broke into my 401k and spent an extensive amount of money to have my tubes reversed and to do other things. And no pregnancy. And so at that point, I was just paying medical bills, and then I started getting sicker, and it just never worked. And so it was one of the reasons that I had divorced. So it's just he needed kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not. That was it. There was nothing I could do at that point. So, and I wasn't going to allow him to take on a second wife as a Muslim. So that was the other side part. So a little bit of information for you guys at that point. So just to fill in the other gap of the story, I'm not taking on a second woman in the house so he could have a kid. And that was looking, and he's not even that type of Muslim, but he started to discuss that. And I'm like, wow, who is this man? Some people change after you get married. And he was a modern Muslim, drinking beer when I met him, easygoing. And then all of a sudden, after a few years, and he went to his home country, it was like that movie where the guy was in Iran, nice in the United States. As soon as that totally changed situation. So here, I just think people change when they get married, and you're either going to be able to adapt or not. I think that this might be also a reference to Every Man Has a Story and Mark. And I know he was forever against the kid thing. And so now it's become a thing where a lot of people make comments about that, you know, about why would he? Why would you leave a kid behind? And, it's kind of crazy. To trap you if you don't want kids. They say that first, then they think later they will change your mind. Yeah, that's true. Hmm. Yeah. Good morning, Gina. How are you guys? Happy New Year's. Finally caught you guys live. Yeah. And so I appreciate you dropping in. If you're still in here, I know. In the deep freezer. So if you missed that, I don't know how long you've been in here. So I told myself I probably wouldn't say it too many times during the live. It will probably be me doing the live streams. So for the most part, the channel um, it's where he's working, and he has been working, and his gaming channel will take precedence. And for the last year or so, it's been more so me that's been doing things, and he's just been appearing in the live streams. He will be appearing on the occasion, and we'll be doing other videos in our regular day life. That's why I kind of changed the pet channel. We discussed at the end of the year that we were taking a break. It's because he can't keep working his online work, the multiple things that he's doing, the gaming channel, time with the family, time with his friends. He has a whole slew of family and friends here that he went to high school and college with. And so it's just the channel became more time for him. And I don't want to interrupt that. He doesn't want to interrupt that. I'm the one that's here at the house most of the time. So for me, it's a hobby. For me, it is something that I enjoy doing. He enjoys doing it. So he will just be slowing down, but he's still here. He's sleeping. So, but yeah, yeah. Hey, Gina. Hey, what? Why don't you? Why don't you 3D print me a George so someone can sit here with me? Or hey, you know what I ought to do? Maybe I ought to bring in a Filipino guest. That would be interesting, being you can buy a guest fairly inexpensive. Maybe once a week I'll bring in a special guest, guys. Oh, good morning, Ruby. Looking down at the time. There's two ways I can see who's in the live stream, but when you're doing it by yourself, it's not as easy to see the bottom of it. But hello, Ruby. But yeah, you can 3D print. You can 3D print a George. So, or we can just bring in a guest. Hey, Victor. Yes, guys, if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. It's not as important as you guys watching and answering the questions, and I can answer questions and, um, along with other things. So, and consider membership. There's hundreds of other videos, and George said we ought to do one. There's another amount. I want to say it's less than a $2 a month membership. So it just helps support the channel on everything, equipment, lights, George's beer habit, and what else? Donuts. Man loves donuts. I like donuts, but George likes donuts. But yes, support the channel, guys. Did I? Ichi Line, good morning. Medicare Advantage mainly just covers emergency services, and that I think would be reimbursed routine, not cover it all. Some of the Medicare Advantages, yes. And of course, other insurances, but you would have to check to see how long, if you're allowed, and all of that. But it didn't used to. I will let you know that the Medicare Advantage or the supplement ones that go along with it, which I believe that's what they call that you pay for or do, there's several of them you can buy. They do cover. You just have to see if it covers. And that's the Medicare Advantage is one of them, but not all of them do. So correct, Geechee. Yeah. That's exactly what he's got. God. He probably make more money. We joke about that. It is his fans only, sweetie. So mostly it is his gaming channel. So yeah. Mostly the gaming channel. And of course, he had been doing things through Amazon before he even left. So George loves Amazon. Not a whole lot of money in that, but that takes up some of his time. And then he's sleeping. I don't know what it is. George lately has been suffering from migraines of some sort. So it's he didn't used to take a mid-afternoon or when he could take a break nap, but it seems he's doing more and more. I am concerned on that. So he had some sort of I don't know if you guys knew he had like this bump on the back of his head, and it's not where he actually was. I don't know what happened there. I don't. I don't know if he fell, but either way, he's got to get an MRI on that. I don't know if that's causing headaches. So, but he does take the nap. He's just spreading himself thin on that. And originally, the channel was both of our ideals. It was only supposed to be part time to show Mexico. Then it built into where the pandemic had happened, and that we did a lot of things to help people when they came here. We did a lot more expat help. And then once the country reopened, nobody really, they do pay attention to that stuff now, but not as much. Now it's just everyday life and what's going on. And then we went into live streams, and it just, the channel went in a different direction. And so, yeah, I'm not going to get into the Medicare Advantage or the supplements or Medicare. All I know is mine is linked to Medicare and they will cover. I'm 100% sure of that, but it depends on the type of program, how much you're paying. There's some that you pay for, there's some that are included, there's some based on being in your state. And there are a bunch of them. You would personally need to check into that. And the reason being is I told George I was going to basically talk about this today, but I didn't want people to get the wrong idea that, hey, I've got Medicare and I got this, and that, because it changes based on your occupancy in the United States. And some of it's based on you paying for a separate, fee to your Medicare. And it's, where you get the supplement and everything that you're paying for. And it depends if they cover it. Mine will, it's either 500 or 1,000 as a deductible. And if I'm outside of the country more than 6 months, I have to get an authorization to even go. So in an emergency. So now that I've been outside the country for 6 months, then that's what it would require. So, yep. So I would check in with your insurance. Everybody is going to, but I know they don't take direct Medicare. Now they say over the years they've been fighting to get that done, but I don't know. Ambulance service in free maybe is free here, which I surprised because they charge you a couple grand in USA just to go a few miles. Okay, so I'm not sure about that statement, why it says ambulance services. I'm thinking that you're saying is free here. You talking about in the Philippines? I don't think so. Where is it free? I've never heard that. Never heard that, or as I'm to understand, it's an individual company and you have to pay those people. I'm not aware that it's free. Now in the US, it's really expensive. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Hello, roomies. Best thing to do, and I know not everyone can do this, but if you are capable, just put away 1 million pesos and 20 grand in savings for healthcare. No, and not everybody can do that. So, not everybody is the top percenters like that Flintstone couple that said over there calling themselves the percenter. And even that they're not. They're not extensively rich, richer than we are, of course, but they're not like rich. There's a lot of rich people here, but they did plan for their retirement like people did. But let me tell you what, the United States is in trouble. So is other countries. It's just almost impossible in this day and age to save with the cost and the rents going up. And like George and me, we've both drained 401k several times at our jobs. And then life happened. Even since we've been here 2 different times, we've been hit our savings. So to have savings is really hard these days. So you should, and people should be able to put that stuff away. But for the average Filipino, that's definitely a no. And it's even harder for expats. And for this guy, he has like zero plan. This new guy has like zero plan, no social security, nothing. He's living on his YouTube money. That is a real people living on their YouTube money situation. That is for sure. So, good morning, Harry. Is Scott in here? Let me see. Hey, Cindy, what is up? Thaddeus is in the house. I'm looking at the other tablet to see. Where's Scott at? Who said hi to Scott? I don't see Scott. Yeah. For those living here, don't forget your annual report. Yeah, I had mentioned that early on, and we've dropped a video. So, I suggest to people doing the annual report. And now you put FBAR. I don't know what the abbreviation. Um, Philippines Bureau. Maybe you're talking about the Bureau of Immigration, the report, but I would just do it online. I made an appointment. Now, the further you get in the 60 days, the appointments will disappear. And then I do a step through step thing, um, pretty much telling you. I even show you where I'm with the woman. I muted the audio on her voice and did clips of it. But basically, she just asks you things. You hold up your passport, but you set the appointment. They'll send you an email. Use that to click on when it's time for her to go in. They'll ask you for the report and the number, and then you just go from there. Your ACR card number. But everybody that's here that has applied and had to apply for an ACR, except for those that are tourists. So what happened is during the year I was Billy buying, not required. During the year that I was here, actually 2 years, I was on the tourist visa. I still had an ACR card, told that I needed to go, but it wasn't true. They took the fees from me. I even showed that up on the screen. So the tourists that are with an ACRI card, not required. But when you go into the 13A and some of the others that do have it, it's required. So, and it's really easy. The only problem is some of the guys don't want to pay the extra $10 to do it. They want to go into the office to do it. So that's, I'm broke, but not that broke. I'm just lazy. Hey, Harry, I agree with you, Heidi. Methinks there's much more to the story, Geomon. Yeah, and just say it. I mean, you're already on that circuit anyways. And I keep saying Chitlin Circuit. It's where they used to go on the road back in the day, a bunch of actors and singers and stuff, kind of like Motown, or just the circuits that had all the doo-woppers and all of that. But basically, if you're already on a circuit going around Doomageddon and saying, hey, you want to interview me on what's really going on, then tell the freaking truth, man. Although I will let you know, it's a lot more embarrassing to say what's really going on. I'll tell you that right now. That much I know. If any of the alleged rumors and what people have seen or what they know about this couple is really true, it's just better. They just didn't get along, according to sources. So it's that. Then I wouldn't even be out doing that. But I think they're allowing the trolls to dictate because he read from the troll comments in his own section. He wants to leave them up because it pushes his algorithm. So he's leaving them in there, and now he's addressing them. And have I addressed trolls on air and stuff? Yes, to some extent, just because I just wanted to argue with you guys on air. It doesn't exactly change my life, but he's doing the whole thing of addressing the trolls for content, and he's addressing and going around to other vloggers. He went back on her show again. Who knows? Man, I should have named the other channel instead of American Woman Expat Philippines. I should have did something like as not like as the ghetto turns, but as the Philippine turns or something. It's like, who knows? I mean, I can't think of anything or any example to use on them. Like, hey guys, don't get married to a single mother, which I guess there you go. It's a reason to discuss that topic. But if it's something going on with these expats and it's something that is relevant or even two more channels are talking about, from now on, I'm freaking going to cover it. And now I don't have George to stop me. Can't stop this train. Did I understand you guys lived in Mexico for a while? Did you say the cost of living is cheaper in Mexico than the Philippines? Yes. But remember, we have been in the Philippines almost 4 years. So has it probably changed since then? Yes. So I don't know if you're currently living there or not, but I will let you know that we were not living in Mexico City or whatever, including I know the electricity didn't change. So electricity here is almost 3 times as much here. The Philippines has the highest rate of electricity, and it goes down a whole bunch compared to Mexico. So we were barely paying anything for that. We was living in a one bedroom, one bathroom, secure little like apartment building complex that was like in a, what do you call that? It was just all secure. It actually was like locked down where nobody, so basically it was super secure in the mountains of Mexico in Puebla. And it was a nice area, and we paid including electricity, cable, everything, gas. They came and filled the gas tank and everything. It was under 100 US dollars. And when I looked the same property up, because it was Airbnb, it didn't go up much more. So could it have been that we, because we were in the mountains? But food definitely was cheaper. Okay, so food is slightly risen here, but to get any vegetables here, to me, since we've been here for 4 years, is insane. So yes, cheaper to live in Mexico. So unless something really shot up over there, then, but I have not been there in 4 years. Yeah, I called at that Barbie girl in the province. She looked like a walking street girl, short shorts, a half top. Yeah, I believe she calls herself off grid Barbie, and her husband. She's got a husband and kids. Is it's the one that walks around in the pink high heels and everything, and she's always glowing with pink, and that's her deal. I get it, and that might have been just the way she is, and she knows she's making money. Her husband knows, but is it even right? I don't know. I mean, I guess if they're getting the money and raising the kids, but think about this. Eventually those kids are going to grow up. Is that the way you want your mother seen as you're in middle school, or eventually friends and family are seeing that, or do they not care? Or the internet is forever on everybody, me, George, you, and that. And more of these kids are being raised on the internet in front of cameras, and it's becoming an issue too. So, yes, and they're just not simps for that reason. They're lonely. I mean, I used to think it was strictly down to that till it came up in my feed on YouTube a few days ago about that. And they said basically the guys that are doing that, it's because they're lonely, because they're having issues in their life. It's a social media thing. And it's the same as when the guys go to fans only. They're just getting it cheaper, and it's easier to get these girls to sway for them. Like the P. Sorry. Most of hers is guys, all of them. People like me, I wouldn't even say educated people like me that watch somebody like the P. Women that just know where it's at. She's entertaining to some extent. She knows what she's doing. She's honed her skills. She leverages everything she can, including charity, and she's getting her money based on those guys having psychological issues or broken down issues. She brings them in because of the simping fact on the outfit she wears and the little skit she does on the end. That's not geared towards men and women, not in any manner. And these guys go through a whole social media dumping of ups and downs and feeling bad and seeing fam and other people living their lives and thinking everybody's got something better. They're lonely. They reach out to somebody like her, and they comment and they drop money. They want to be seen, and they think they can. I don't think anymore do I think they can save these women. I just think they're getting a personal interaction or a chance to be with her. She's obtainable because she's not Rihanna or something, or one of the other celebrities, Beyonce, or God, I don't even know who's even popular. Trump, I don't know. The whole thing is it used to be there were only so many superstars and this and that. Now every other person here in the Philippines thinks they're a superstar. So, and these guys want a chance, and women, to actually be able to interact based on throwing money. But the thing is, most of these guys are broke. I didn't come from a super rich family and hang out with a ton of millionaires all the time and all of that. They come from working class, middle class families. And with the way costs are, they're taking money and food out of their own mouths. It could be they've got a wife and they're both on Social Security and they're just throwing sticker money at her. And it's like, I bet half those guys that drop those stickers to the P do not have money. I mean, $200 stickers because she handed out a few gift bags off of a jeepney. I mean, I don't know. You guys lost your minds. And she does it every year. You don't think she's on to that already? And no. So, whatever happened to the guy who came over thinking he would marry the P? There's so many of them. And I only watch her on the occasion. She came up in the feed, and I praise that um, that some of the like she gave the woman that she works with a house. Now, I thought that was really nice of her. I think, how did she get all the money for that? Because the cost of the house wasn't what she said. What I think she put 13,000 on air or something US dollars. But what it was is she gave a final price. Like, was it up to 70,000 US dollars? And because she didn't include the land, the stuff in the house, the when she built her house, she didn't. I don't think she included that in the cost. This time, she put the lower end amount of materials, and then she added in labor and did a breakdown for everybody. But that means she's got buku money coming in from her channel. So, but I don't know. I think she went to Australia recently. I think when she was in the United States, there were rumors that she was there because of a fiance. Then there were insinuations she was pregnant, which of course we can now see she's not pregnant. And there's all kinds of things that's always going on with the Peace channel. But I don't know. I don't know. I had only heard from reading and then that I thought she was actually with somebody. But somebody just did an interview. Some odd person in Dumageddon asked her, and they asked her, and I knew what the answer was. I answered it at the same time. And he asked, well, if there was a foreign expat that you were going to date, what nationality or what person would you date? And I'm like, yeah, I can tell you right now what she's going to answer. And I was like, she's going to answer anybody. And she did. Why? Because if she would have said only Americans, the other guys that are sending her money, she's genius, man. Oh, any of them. It doesn't matter for me as long as I'm happy. And I'm like, oh my God, is she her own PR or she got somebody telling her what to say or what? Crazy. But she was answering questions for some other channel. And I'm like, smart. Maybe if I'd shut my trap more often, I'd make more money or something. It's not gonna be like that. Never meant to have any money. I would insult people for free. I'm not worried about that. Uh, those native Filipino channels bore me to tears, mostly unbearable. Yeah, and I that's what I mean. On top of that, they drop stickers, and most of them are just doing these slow dances or they're cleaning. What was the one that we went up against when her boyfriend came in and says, "Oh, well, my woman gets thousands in her live stream." And I'm like, first off, I was wondering, was she paying for the advertisement, which you can promote your own videos, by the way. I was like, oh. And when I went and seen her channel, I was like, her name was Izzy or something. Izzy Chris, not Izzy. I forgot what her name, Dizzy, Izzy, or whatever. Dizzy. I'll just call her Dizzy. And he come in there talking about defending and stuff. And then they broke up. Then they got back together. And I think they're still together, actually. But yeah, she's one of those channels. Bikini, dancing, basic life dancing, and she does those sexual question channels, kind of like the guys that go around and ask, "Hey, if you had this to suck on all day, could you get it in your mouth?" Well, yeah, if I can run that type of channel all the time, doesn't matter what I look like. If I was 800 pounds, they'd probably watch. But it's insane, and it's the social media world is just upside down on its head right now. And the problem is most of us are living through social media, and it's good for the interaction when you're bored and lonely, but people start like from day to night, and people are in denial. Oh, I'm not on social media all the time, but they are. They really are, and then they fill it with time with like girls like that dancing, and it's like I can't see it. The Filipino videos sound too sophisticated and scripted. Well, who is writing the script? Could be her assistant, could be her. I couldn't figure out where she was getting all the time till I found out she had an assistant. So, it is her full-time job. It is the money she solely relies on. And I just think it's funny. She has a great little channel. She's come a long way. I'll give that to her. But to play little me Filipina that's just a province girl, and you hear the guys leaving messages, oh, for somebody that was so poor and so down and out and this and that, and you this and that. She just plays that role so well. And I mean, as I'm to understand, yeah, she grew up poor and everything, but I believe there's a bunch of other stuff about the Filipinas life, Filipina peas, and there are more like her. You realize how many Filipinas are like her and educated that did come in her background and have channels, if not way better than hers, but they don't get the time of the day. So the Filipina P does not have, as I'm to understand, a YouTube manager or ever invited to Google. And there were several at that meeting with really nice channels. But I guess the guys only know her because of the Dumagetti group, and there's millions of vloggers here. So it just happens to be the one. Once you guys start watching Paul or us or other people, I think it just sends you guys that signal and they watch the P. I'm still, I'm always shocked. I don't blame them either. It is just the game to get the money. Yeah. And the viewers is about the money and the choice. They want just to send them money. Yes. In the end. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a vicious cycle. Like they were talking today in the news. Google News had mentioned that the birth rate is low for the Philippines, and I'm like, really, really? So they just fought to lower it by the birth control and the country's overrun. Yeah, I've seen it overrun. All right, all them e-trikes and crazy drivers and people weaving out of traffic. It's crazy. So it is. It's really overpopulated to some extent. Now they're talking about the birth rate has dropped. We've got problems. And I'm like, dude, you just trying to get a story. I mean, I get it. It's genius to think about, how am I going to angle and prepare my story for this morning? And it's like, wait a minute, the birth rate has dropped by 4 people. So today we're going to cover how it's destroying the world. And that's what they cover. And I'm like, oh, genius. And so basically it makes sense. But every time you make an adjustment to the world, it changes the world. So being as they messed with that, the birth rate drops because like they used to have 8, 9 children and they know they can't afford them. Well, people still can't afford them anyway. So I get it. And while they do that, if there's a lower amount of people, guess who's out there on those vessels doing the fishing? Guess who the OFWs are? Guess who the nursing are? Guess who are the outside people taking care of the world? Well, it's just not the Filipinos. There are other OFWs, but they're known for it, right? So now they're like, now we're going to need our people to stay home. What? And so I'm like, maybe I should do that on the next live. I should just do something like, yeah, I can't even, but they really turn that story around. But I guess it's true. Anytime you mess with anything, kind of like if you think about time travel, you change everything. And you did that, and then you don't have enough people, and then your people have to stay home. And then if everything drops, is it good? Is it bad? Uh, the P is kind of an exception, but she bores me too. I think we all become boring. Some people really love us, some people really hate us. There's times where George bores me on air, I bore him. There's times they want him to talk, there's times they don't. Some people just can't stand me and then they can't but yet they'll sit there and watch Every Man. Sorry, I watch some of Every Man only to see the topic or if he said something controversial, but I couldn't sit through his stuff. There's several vloggers I just couldn't do it because it's just not for everybody. Can't say there's wrong or right or bad or good. We just all have a preference on what's actually going on. So, CBGB, did you marry the P? Even George was after for a while. Saw yesterday the Philippine passed an anti-scamming law to stop foreigners getting scammed. Okay, not sure where you seen that, but that was our previous live stream. That law was passed 7 months ago. So it was in July of last year that they did. It was on Rafi Tulfo. You might have seen it, Rafi Tulfo. Why? Because we watched it on Rafi Tulfo through YouTube. Therefore, YouTube said, "Hey, Curtis is kind of snooping around there. Let's hit him with that video." And boom, is that the one you seen, Curtis? They did that to George. Okay, just on a separate device, he started telling me about how the belly button leaks secretions and that urine can leak out of it because how does the belly button work? I said, is it blah, blah, blah? And does urine come out of there? He goes, yeah. And I said, that's because I was watching it the other day. So it tends to be that at like 165 people in the room, if I'm watching something, there's a good chance whatever I'm watching, you guys might be watching because they're going to throw it in your feed because they figure we all know each other. It's the algorithm is a crazy thing. But if it's not, that was passed in July and it was a live stream we did the other day. And it was based on the guy being scammed and things are getting so bad, Curtis, with scamming. It's not the only country, that is for sure. But they already had something in place, but they put a whole new law. But it came out in July. Hit the thumbs up, everyone, please, and thank you. Yes. Just leaving the comments, whether you do a thumbs up or thumbs down, it's all about just the interaction and watching. So, for the most part, just my ego. I just want to know what's going on, you know? So, because basically I was joking about this is good interaction with people. It helps with, getting to know things. Basically, it's almost like another AOL chat situation going on, except for I get to talk while it's going on. AOL, dang. I like the kitten. Looks like a good mouser. It was really cute today. They were playing with the spring, the cat and the dog. So the dog, I don't think's getting any bigger. She's a mix of a Shih Tzu and it's not a Shar Pei. I just said the other day what she was. I think Victoria said what she was. Um, she's a Chinese dog of some. She's some sort of Asian dog, but she's the other breed. She's not just. Anyways, but she's going to stay little. She's the mini size one. She's over 6 months old now, and she's barely bigger than the cat. And so they chase and bite each other, and if her tail's wagging, the cat bites her tail, and they were fighting over a toy. So the cat had a toy and was playing with it, and the dog just snatched it right out of her hand and had it in her mouth staring at her. But they play. It's really cute. Then they wear themselves out, and now they're both asleep. So, but I think they're both really good together. And the other one, a Mauser, I don't know. She might be. So far, I have not seen that here. We see the little water bugs that come from outside and they come up the drains in the bathroom. But Slick Rick, San Francisco, good morning. Good morning, Violet. Hello. Maybe. I mean, they just lay on his face when he's laying here sleeping. So, I mean, he'll probably sleep till noon today, easy. And that's why me and George used to get into it on the occasion, and I would sit there and say something like, "Well, I've been up since 5 a.m. and this." He's like, "Who cares?" That's because George sleeps in. So when I drag him, and most of the time it's dragging him into the live streams, it's not that he doesn't like the people. It's just now, he's always been the game and always done this, and that. No, the cats just lay on him. Like they lay right there on his face and he won't do nothing about it. And there's been days where he's just laying here and you could see all three cats laying on him on different types. And I was like, well, why don't you move? You got to be uncomfortable. And he's like, well, I didn't want to move the cats. I'm like, but you're going to lay there uncomfortable. So Scotty be talking to us like we are licensed therapists. We don't want to hear all of his problems. Yeah, I just couldn't get past. I don't know. When I watched part of one of them, I was getting the feeling maybe he was just making it all up, like the Japanese guy that's living homeless in Japan, because it was weird. The guy was homeless, but yet he was. It just didn't seem. His story just seemed so off. For being a homeless guy, he always had money, food, a tent. He used to live inside the cafes, and then he had friends that he was staying with, and all the things that he was showing was indicating he wasn't really homeless. And in less than a year, he's up to over 100,000 subscribers. And the guy makes, but here's the thing, he's a professional skateboarder at one point, and I like some of the content he shows. It was just hard for me to believe that he was homeless. So then it just ruined the whole channel for me. But this guy, it's just the stupidest plan I ever heard, chosen one. I mean, no Social Security coming in because he's a professional gambler. He's admitting he's a professional gambler. And the guy, um, YouTubing seems to be what his main income is. And he talked about how he came here 18 months ago, how he only had less than 200 when he entered the country. He's living in a place he's got to leave because it's broken down. And he's just broke, 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 broke is his entire thing. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I built this channel with George along with nagging and complaining. So I guess everybody's got their situation or just putting things out there and not being liked. I don't know. So, right there you go. You never count your own money. While you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting. When the dealing's done, you got to know when to fold 'em. Know when to hold 'em. That'll be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Thank you, Steve Silver. Mhm. Oh, I see you made it back, didn't you? There you go. Travel America. He came in by saying I'm a Susan Boyle wannabe. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know for what purpose you would mention me being Susan Boyle, not even close. So, and that's a singer that's from Britain. So, yeah. So I have no idea on that one. Packing for the Philippines trip. Hope to meet up this year. That is good to hear. And most definitely, Gina. So, yeah, I addressed that earlier. I know I'm behind. I used to say something to George about getting behind. So, yep. So he'll be in on the occasion. Ricky videos coming out, outings and everything. Just like most YouTube couples, things happen as far as like working. And so instead of giving the entire channel up, it's, because I would still be working on the other stuff anyways, just as, a hobby or doing things. I can't see giving up the one thing that I do enjoy doing. And that's what it's got to be at this point. So, and lately I've been working on the ones where we do the music. So we have, I think altogether we have 8 channels, and the Philippine Antics and then the new American Woman Expat one, you know, is one that I'll probably be working on more often than not. But we have the music. We both have been creating music and we really enjoy doing that together. But with his gaming in the full time and then him doing other actual work, he's trying to save money. So he's got the new granddaughter. He has one, not the uncle that passed away that was in the last video where he showed a quick, he panned over on where the funeral was that he was on at a few weeks ago. But the one that over there living at the family compound, he's been like helping him, spending time with him. And so, which is just called life. So instead of giving the channel up, I can't see why. So, but yeah, he's still here, just napping all the time. And we got to start. I'm looking to sneeze. Yeah, sorry. We were cleaning yesterday. Everything got like dusted, pulled out, and and then with the power out for 12 hours yesterday, it seems like once we kicked the air on, it was just like in the humidity all day, and then the air back on. We both have been like sneezing because we don't have as many of the animals anymore. Um, so what was I starting to say about just yeah? So got the video coming out and oh, immigration. That's what I was starting to say. We're getting ready to start the 13A, which is the marriage visa, there's an amendment. So there's two parts to it. And so we go through that, and we'll be both heading up to Robinson Mall to complete the NBI, and we'll be getting some footage up there and everything. So you'll be, you see him soon enough, or you'll be seeing the new deep freezer. Dun, dun, dun. George disappeared shortly after Heidi said she was taking over the channel. Dun, dun, dun. I know it's people's court. I just had to go into that because we were just joking about the deep freezer, and here he is missing. I got him tied up on the back porch. Dun, dun, dun. You guys wouldn't say nothing if I disappeared. Where'd I go? We don't care. If I was an old single expat traveling to Southeast Asia, I would get fixed as not to have any more kids, and I would tell whoever I am don't want kids. You know what, Black Grandpa, you got a good point there, because you all didn't want me to be present, because I'd have you all neutered before you left, like I would take David Campbell's wheelchair. I can hear George now saying, dang, because that's what he says. And sometimes you got to hear George talk when he's not on air, because people got offended when I said that what's her name collecting a check for the next 18 years on her kid. She never worked in the US. At least some of the Filipinas did. And yes, he deserves his check, but 18 years worth? The government and people don't pay in for an 18-year period. Okay. We get it's still a tax burden. It's all of that. Everybody's individual. Can't throw it on everybody. But for the most part, men having kids after a certain age and getting a Social Security check, that wasn't the intentions of the system, nor was all the people that are disabled or the others that are getting it. As I'm to understand, they're giving some checks to the foreigners, the illegals or something. I don't even know 100% about all that. But tax burdens. And so all in all, I guess before they leave, if I was president, if I was Trump, I would that's what I would do. If he's doing everything else, maybe they can do that to the males and females. Women usually can't have kids. I mean, I could still have a kid. It'd probably be a miracle if I actually did, but these guys are having kids, 2, 3 kids. I think you can only get payment on 2 of them. So if you'd fix them on the way out and make them take some sort of course, that would save the government a whole bunch of money. I guarantee that. So they ought to, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you can do as women too, but go on. Somebody else had that ideal. Hmm. And what's up in the United States, man? What's really going on? I didn't know about the Tesla deal in front of the Trump, but George said there were 2 incidences, and so all kinds of stuff going on with that. But what George wouldn't let me say that I can actually say now, he feels that that's dealing with the roundup of the illegals, that they were going to use something to cause some sort of thing like this. So it gave them a way to enact that anti-immigration act, and it'd be easier and more legal for him to get rid of the foreigners. And I still feel that might be what's going on, but that's a whole nother. I usually just, like to just talk about simple stuff like movies and ice cream and cats, and stir people up every now and then. That's I don't get this one, but maybe you can audition some split screen co-hosts, find some chemistry. Yeah, maybe once a week we can bring in somebody, because yes, I can just stream them through StreamYard and bring in a couple of the guys that are in other areas and stuff. And yeah, instead of it'd be hard to get an average person here. And I don't want to be like that Filipina Oprah woman or whatever her name is, where she just brings in all these different walking street people. And that's not all of Angeles and Mabalacat and everything. But it's hard for the average working person, which is in this neighborhood, to actually just randomly say, hey, do you mind sitting down for a couple hours? And of course, it would have to be compensation. You compensate them 500 pesos or 1,000. The video only makes 500 pesos per video, unless, like it's like super drama, and then we made $20 for the video. So the rate of who's watching it in different areas pays out on average $5 to $20. So to pay somebody $20 to bring him in is rough. So it's not as glamorously paid as people think it is. So and then they get or portion of the sticker and a portion of the memberships on top of it. So yeah, Black Grandpa, good thinking and wise move. Ruby, I don't know why every expat that doesn't want or can afford kids have that operation. Dan Finn, my guess is you're either a sick grandpa or one of his little friends, and I actually don't care. I believe I addressed him because he came up in our room and said something like we won't allow his comments. We blocked him a long time ago. Why? Because this isn't a democracy for expat trash and those dark idiots to come in and come through the room and just drop their stuff. He can use his own channel to talk about whatever. Okay. And he can just say whatever. I will still make this statement till the day you cross my path and put your hands on me. That's the only thing that I care about. So he can do whatever, say whatever, make up whatever lies. That I've seen his show like a lot of our people have, and he is different, and his deal is he makes things up. He chooses all these channels to say something about 100% to build his channel, or that he's super bored or psychologically broken down idiot that doesn't know what he's really even talking about. Like, watch his stuff. But some people are attracted to watching that type of trash. Andy Omar is one deal. This guy's a different level. He's that guy that ranted over the presidency years ago, and that was his claim to fame a long time ago. And ever since then, he's been ranting like a bleeding hooker on Walking Street. So he's just going to keep yelping. And the difference is with me, he can go ahead and do that. That's fine. I'm not that other person that he attacked outright openly before. You got the right one with this one. So as long as he never crosses my path and touches us, my husband, me, or anybody that's in our party, like if we're out and about, then I don't have a problem with him, because he likes to build beef with people. And years ago, whatever beef he had with that other person, he just walked up and just smacked him in the back of the head in the middle of a live stream. I don't know what that was all about. I don't give a crap about sick grandpa last time. So have no idea. It's like right now, because our numbers are up there, we've had every little channel from here to the Mississippi trying to get a piece of us every time we say something. And that's fine. It's fair game. We've talked about channels. We've talked about things that they've done. This guy's just a ranting idiot. That's what he is. And so now he'll have something more to rant about. Difference is he's not going to do shit. He's just talking through his ears. So let's see, migraines maybe. That's why he's been squinting lately. He's been doing that. Like he used to be a full-time artist, and he would do like comics, and he is now wearing glasses. We've had glasses done with him twice since he's been here. And the one was professionally done. Like they did the full exam. He got a pair of glasses, and his regular sight is fine. It's the reading ones that he needed. And so he doesn't wear the reading glasses when he's on air. So he does like this, like I do on the occasion. But I had the eye surgery, LASIK eye surgery, more than 10 years ago. And so, but I still have to put on, I dropped the other set of glasses down there. But I think the migraines that he's getting, I think it's not enough water. I try to feed him his vitamins. He takes blood pressure medicine. I'll find out if I don't check his medicine container, because I can't sit on him all the time and say, hey, literally take your medicine. So, and so I know he skips. He's supposed to get it twice a day. And so but I think he needs more water. And he's been drinking that nasty Tang stuff they have here. It's worse than, it could be the same formula, but that it is in the US. But here they sell them in the small packs, and it uses one or two different artificial sugars. And he's been drinking a lot of that and only that. and so it's hard to get him to drink the clear water. And I think some of that's contributing. And he eats a lot of sugar and he eats a lot of rice. So I think it's a sleeping thing too. On Amazon in America are unionized by Teamsters and are striking in part of America. Yeah, that's crazy. I seen that in New York. I seen that where they were a bunch of them picketing outside and fighting with the guys that are still working. So, hey, Laura, yeah, she does that. She just weirdly like that was this is like the middle of the living room and just randomly with no flies, no nothing. She could be sleeping and then just wakes up and just stares midair. And I don't know if it's she's the only cat that's done it. Bella would do it on the occasion. She's the other cat that we had, but not often. So, hey, Cindy, good morning. Maybe Rose should say, "Buy me a coffee." Apparently, that's the new thing on YouTube. The buy me a coffee's been around for a while. We've had it. Others can turn it to where it says "Buy me a beer." We had ours starting about 4 years ago. So yeah, she could do that. A lot of them, like commonly, like we do. We have PayPal and then regular stickers and buy me a coffee. We used to have where it said "Buy me cat food." So Happy New Year's. They charged me 2,060 in the USA to go 3 miles urgent care hospital. Yeah, that is true. Cindy, have you taken an ambulance here? As I'm to understand, it's not free if I call it. Even George has said it's not free. Yeah, fastest, yeah, is a trike. Yeah. When I had that bleed that went on for, I think it went on for 7, 8 hours, and his brother issued the medication to take to stop the clotting. I didn't know what to do. We didn't have the car at the time. We did have the trike. We could have walked. And he said, no, you just need the pill. It was quicker for George instead of going across the street. At that time, it would have been waiting on the outside of the hospital, even if I was bleeding. We just got the pill and it actually stopped it. So having some medical knowledge is better than not. But yes, you would have to get a trike. It's yeah, here it's I don't believe it's free. Yeah, wait, answered that earlier. Yeah, sleeping right now. I was in an ambulance once in the Philippines. When I looked at my hospital bill, I asked how much the ambulance was, could not see the bill. They told me the service is free. What part was that, Shane? It's not in Angel City. Probably. And probably more protein and less sugar, carbs. He likes the salty things, the chips, all of that. It's yeah. When I took away all the sugar the first few months of last year, and when I started cutting back, I promise you he did not. It's very hard to get him to change on that. So, let's see. Hello, I hope all is well with you and the fur babies. I know what you mean with issues and taking care of yourself. I try to go exercise 4 times a week. Yeah, if you actually can. Yep. Like I said, I do all the housework and I usually don't stop for the first portion of the day. I go out and I water the plants and there's a weekly market and then of course we go out and do things. I am limited because of my energy with the lupus and because I've needed knee replacement for years for multiple reasons. And so with the lupus, my joints all swell up, so that doesn't help the need for knee replacement. And now my sisters, on the other hand, need their hips replaced. So we've just got osteoporosis and other issues going on. For me, don't have that issue, so at least my right knee needs to be replaced, but it's not super bad. If I put on like the ointments and it's a good day and I'm already on steroids, then I'm more than fine. So I do limited exercise. For me, it's just cutting out on the sugar. It helps with the joints and everything. So 1 million for foreigners living there, not the locals. Most foreigners retire will have 20,000. Yes, gotcha. Oh, interesting. I'll have to take a look. Sunshine just posted a GoFundMe emergency for an expat who needs immediate heart surgery in Cebu. Um, the procedure done is 100,000 in the U.S. Wow. All right, so the amount is 100,000 in the U.S. Oh no, the bill is procedure done is 100,000 U.S. Why is it that high for the heart surgery? Interesting. And we said that the cost went up. I know a single bypass at the big hospitals in Manila used to be somewhere between 20 and 30 on the base of it. So maybe this is where he needs all of it replaced and with the therapies and everything else could be. So, but it used to be, I don't know what level. Interesting. There's a lot of Americans that are needing help and other foreigners actually. I was going to cover, there's several homeless expats here that another Filipina just found the same guy that's been wandering around out here, that's been helping them. And it's sad. And a lot of people think that the embassy can be called and that's going to resolve everything. And then I'm curious why they know that they're here. The police know they're here. Everybody knows they're here, but yet they don't deport him. The guy hasn't done immigration. He wanders up and down Walking Street, the same guy. He's cantankerous with people sometimes, and so there's several of them like that. But yet they don't deport him. So I don't, you know, some of them don't want to leave. They know if they go back to the U.S. or whatever country that it'd be too cold and stuff. So expats lose their common sense when confronted by their young Filipinas. Logic goes right out the door. Definitely. Young people here don't realize the impact later in retirement years. Life is great on a beach. Here, washing, yeah, wasting your youth time, and it really work at pay into retirement for everything. That, and I agree. And I guess we really, some do, and then kind of like me, I thought I had more time. And then you're at that point of your life, like it was in my 30s. There was money being saved, everything. I thought there was always more time. Always thought there was more time. And there just wasn't any more time. And so now it's like, could I have done something? Would I have done something? And George said if we would have done something different, it would have changed our course of our life. Like, we're not talking about time travel. We're talking about if I just would have went and did this job and that job, maybe something else would have happened. It changes the whole course of our life. But we have to keep the minor heart attack. The stent was less than 300,000. Yeah, which would have been 6,000 US. So I'm wondering why 100,000. So I know the bills can add up pretty quick. 100,000 just seems drastic. I mean, I think it's 20 for a single. Like, there's a list of current hospital procedures, like a base cost, and 20 was a starting. 1 million pesos or something was the heart surgery amount. So it must have really gone up because what is that, 50 million pesos? Hey Siri, did Siri fall in the cracks again? Are you laying on my phone, cat? Yeah, it's got to be 5 million. So, oh, it says watch the video. I don't think Sunshine. No, if he has an amount, there had to be something that was, and definitely don't think he's lying. If Sunshine's putting it out, that means there's something going on. There's more to, he must really need some deep help. That is for sure. So I met people from other top countries who can't return back for any benefits since they have lived outside their country too long. Research rules and plan ahead. Yes, that is true also. And a lot of them, depending if they're from Canada or the UK and all that, yes, they can't utilize some of them at all. And for the US, as some of the guys are canceling it, canceling their Medicare, then of course you won't have any option at all. And then it depends on the plan. So, yeah, most definitely. Gary, the answer would be no, not this far. I don't know if you're still in here, what's going on. So, but good morning to you. The topic today is about an expat, if that's what you're talking about. And I'm not even sure if you watch, but the expat has no social security, gambler, that is his money. He's talking about he's broke all the time. He is broke. I thought it was for content, then I realized he really is broke. He claims he's a nomad, but then I realized he's just a vlogger. I think he still does do the gambling, and he is definitely never getting a check. He's been in other Asian countries. He says he's just floating around, and he's basically got nothing going on in the US anymore. So he's just wandering aimlessly. The worst plan I've ever heard is I wouldn't, if that was the case, just saying, "Hey, I'd rather spend my money." He's literally taken every bit of information that everybody has said, and he's made his own path to come do it. He doesn't even have savings. He's already said that 200 is the only money he had when he entered the country, and that he doesn't have Social Security. At least when Mark Thornton showed up, he at least had a check coming in a few years, and he was doing online, teaching, and the guys always have something going on, and it just wasn't the YouTube in the beginning because he wasn't monetized in the beginning. This guy, nothing. He won't even get Social Security, and so no savings either. So there's nothing to fall back on. I get Mark said he had what $600 when he arrived, but at least Social Security was coming at 62. So he only had to wait what a year or two to get it. I don't know. This guy had no plan. So. Oh, gotcha, Dan. Okay, the F bar. All right, so I don't know everything. George wouldn't have known that. Every year you must report certain foreign financial accounts such as bank, brokerage, mutual funds, treasury. Yeah, I don't think a lot. I mean, people do have that, but yes. But I didn't know that was a yearly thing. I only thought when it was a certain amount, and I didn't know. I mean, I know something about that based on the banking brokerage accounts, all that. I mean, there's already documents on those anyway, so I guess it'd be part of your taxes and gotcha. Mixed marriage is always going to be a challenge, different cultures and a lifelong adjustment. Yes. And people adjust, change, and things happen. So, me and George, you know, one of the big things that I kept telling him is that he had not been in the country so long, even he was a newbie here. And he kind of got and gets upset at me and says, "Hey, well, I still know more than you. I am the foreigner. I'm the Filipino here. You're the foreigner." And I still tell him, "Yes, but you're still adjusting yourself." And I said, "We're both adjusting at the same time." So it kind of adds another level. But now that he's been here for a few years, he's kind of fallen back into, being here because it had been years since he had been here. So like Gcash wasn't here, paying stuff online wasn't here. And even that, like we were officially just able to pay our electric bill this past month online. Besides that, we had to manually go in. The water, the cable or the internet and the phones and all that we've been able to do. The pandemic, it became really easy to do all these things. And all these things I had to learn pretty much on my own. And it's like, I was like, "But I thought you knew how to do certain things." And he's like, "Well, they didn't have that back then, silly." But I get that's different when it comes to cultures and stuff. But the culture he definitely knows. And um, but it's easy if you have a Filipina here that does a bunch of stuff, knows a bunch of things, knows locations. All these things were new to George when he got back here. it was a whole different world when he left. So it was, we had to adjust on some things. Been married for 20 years to an Australian, and it's an ongoing challenge for us both of us to make it good living together. Yes. So for anyone contemplating and getting into this, think 10 times if you're up to it. Yeah, I would agree, Ruby. It's been an up and down, and it's how you're able to handle it. I mean, I think about Geo and Maya. They weren't meant. If they broke up this quick over whatever they're claiming it was, or even if part of the rumors were true that she was going through it because of habits she had, and there was all this in between confrontation they were having, or whatever was going on, it was marriage is work. No matter how bad it is, you're supposed to stay together. Me and George have had our days, and we didn't get married for a few years after we met. And then we were locked down in the pandemic, and we had to choose to either be at my place, which I continued to rent, by the way. I paid rent, and the cat lived over there. Relatives would go over there and feed the cat, and then every few days I would go over there. Poor guy. And so it was, the cat lived in the house for almost a year by himself. And so it's like I was paying a whole place for just a cat and my stuff. And um it was really rough because it was like all of a sudden being retired together and not going anywhere. So we did a lot of board games and got to know each other in gaming and able to go out on the occasion. And it's marriage is work, and then add into our travel to Mexico, which we drove in. That was really stressful. I mean, we had no idea what we was up to at that point, but we knew that we had tickets. The country would not allow us to go on to the Philippines, so we were like, well, being we have savings, we don't want to blow it by continuing to live in the US. We had already sold everything. We sold everything, had the money pending, and I'm like, well, we can go to was it Kazakhstan or whatever? And I'm like, wait a minute, we don't know that language at all. So we were just going to sit abroad and wait for the Philippines to open because we had already made the plans because of the pandemic. And so there was the stress of everything. People were passing away. That it was getting worse. We had to double down on the face shields and just everything. And so we've been through our challenges, but we but it's a lot of work, Ruby. It is. And I didn't think there was any cultural difference. And just like George said, I'm like, I am married to somebody culturally different. It's hard with George as far as that because George, although he's Filipino citizen, he lived in the US for a long time. But after an adult, he had kids and everything and had a full life before, finished college and everything before he went over. So it's not like he was just young and he was raised at 8 years old over in the United States. He was an adult. So he had the US culture in him and he had the Filipino culture. But I always forget that, there's still an Asian culture. No matter how Americanized it seemed to me that he is, there's always something every now and then that hits us. So they are. Appreciate that. His circumstances are really dire. Yeah, 20 years of actually, he said 25 years of gambling, no skills for employment, apparently no motivation, nothing. He seems to still have addictions. Yes, it's very shocking. And I don't know what happened in, I wrote it down here, Cambodia, something about legal problems, arrested. And the Philippines has a real bad gambling addiction issue. Really, really bad. Deny it all they want, but it does everywhere in the world. But like they've done show and show after show, and now the pogos are all being closed, and there's entire call centers, huge, like one huge call centers that are dealing with that. And it's crazy. And here he is here where it's real. And then with the online, I don't know, but the man is, and $200 when he arrived, and the place he's living in the worst, cheapest. I mean, sometimes I want to get cheap. I mean, I told George, I said, sometimes I think about, hey, we can save more money instead of you doing some extra working, or we could do this and that. Let's just get a cheaper place. And there are guys that go, our rent's 10,000 pesos. There are expats that have families that live in 5,000 peso places here in this area. They just live like in the scummy, scummy areas, and I just can't see going any cheaper than this. And at least we have 2 bedroom, 2 bath and stuff. And so this guy's really living in an inexpensive place. It's pure, pure desperation. I mean, I wanted to be able to not sit around in our retirement, being our retirement plan was to come to the Philippines. That way, it would be where, we didn't have to worry about paying rent or electricity and things like that. Even if we're both getting a check and some savings, we no longer have 401ks. We don't have any military, extra pensions, no nothing. So the Philippines, with this being his country, seemed like the right thing to do. And now a bunch of people are leaving the United States for financial reasons. So it wasn't a bad idea, but it's not stupid like this guy. I can't see going cheap like that. Just crazy. Philippines, Barbie's husband is from Canada and he's off the grid guy. Gotcha. Yeah, he just sits there. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Some people can do it. It's like you heard David Campbell really complain about Rose in the beginning. And Rose did play into that part in the beginning. A lot of people seen her do that. Like she was wearing certain dresses and she was wearing those type of dresses. And he used to put, oh, my wife approves of this. And it showed her in all these tight dresses and her hair braided up. And he would put all that simping stuff out there for the guys, but he kind of did it himself. She was already doing it. She put out her exercise videos. Yes, they help people, but all kinds of stuff. It was just the way that it was presented, and it's the same with this guy. He, I'm not saying he deliberately allows his wife to be on air. Nobody is really supposed to control what actually their spouse is. Now, it could be that he's controlling or making her do that, but for the most part, it looks pretty voluntary to me. But I just can't see doing that. I just can't see. I don't know. It's not for everybody. I mean, I think most guys would say that they don't want their wife on air. I don't think it's because they're jealous. It's just the right thing to do to sit there and do that. But they may be desperately looking for money. I don't. You never know what their situation is. So, hi Heidi. Tell George Carl said hi. Hey Carl. Hello. I understand you with the topic of health and trying to take care of yourself. I try to go. Gotcha. Thanks, Carl. Yeah, it's been and that's another thing here is that it's the same as United States. The cheaper food here is of course fast food and the street food. And you got to watch it with the street food. And there's a balance for the guys coming here to get, do budgets and all of that. Healthy food is definitely expensive here. I've been trying to get the monk fruit sugar, and some of it has erythritol, and I don't mind it. But for a small bag that barely covers our coffees for the month, we're paying like $30 for it. And to me, $30 for coffee sugar is really kind of insane. So it's but in the US, that type of sugar is even more expensive, but it's just one of those things that's still eating healthy here still costs money. The fruits, the vegetables, even the frozen vegetables by the bags are $10 a bag. So and you can't live off the canned food. So it's an adjustment of trying to do it, and we try to have a balance. But the more I tell George not to eat something, George is one of those guys that won't listen and just will. George is his own person, and that's the one thing I love about him. At the same time, dislike about him is that if I say, "Hey George, you've been on your phone a little bit, take a break because you've been gaming the whole day," he will spend another 3 hours. I don't think he does it intentional, like, "Hey, I'm just going to teach her a lesson." No, something locks into George, and he every time for the 5 6 years we've been together, he always. I sometimes I don't even say anything to him at that point, but it's the more I ask about. He drinks a bunch of the Tang every day and sodas, and a lot of people think with my size that it's me sitting around. My weight is increase since I slowed down in the US, the steroids, the lupus, and a few other things. And no, he eats a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, and I'm concerned with family history of strokes. So, oh, kind of itchy ever since we dusted. But broken people attract broken people. Sometimes, yes. Most definitely. I think it's what they're looking for sure. There was this woman, I'll never forget her when I was doing Uber driving. I mostly just did like Miami trips, and this some of them were to the airport, and they were the ones I picked up on. There was this woman I picked up from a clinic. Every relationship, she attracted a man that was an alcoholic and was abusive, physically abusive. She said for 3 men, and the girl was like 90 pounds wet with 2 kids from the guy. And she goes, my previous relationship, he did the same thing. He beat on me. He was a drinker. And I think sometimes people attract, oh, geez, people attract certain people for reasons. They're fixers, and like they want to fix the person. They think they can save them. For me and my relationship, I've got like believe it or not, the mothering instinct. So like when I see somebody like George working all the time, overworking like I did when I met him, George was unattainable, and I think that was the persona he put on. And so it just pushed me to be more where, hey, hey, this guy is the unattainable. And, we did a lot of things and concerts and travel. And I do a lot of cooking and dinners and always making extra things for them. And we both did all that in the beginning. So I'm a nurturer, really, really heavy duty. So, um, and, I am a mother. And so it's kind of in there. Hey, second win. I'm superstar. Is that supposed to be star? None at all. None at all. Because I mean, I only know so many of them that I see on social media. So really, at this point, I'm just looking to cover anybody that actually comes up. It's hard saying. There are so many there. And the one thing Geo had right is it's overwhelming with expat vloggers over there right now, and that so much is changing. The whole area is changing over there. So just put that up real quick. Probably not going to read it, but there's the cost. It does seem extensive. I'm not saying it can't be. There's got to be something else going on. I know it's 20,000, and that was a high-end list in Makati area. And although medical is expensive but cheap at the same time, the most I thought I'd seen was 1,000,000, 2,000,000, or 3,000,000. But I'm pretty sure that amount. There's got to be other medical issues if Sunshine said that. So yeah, Ruby, 20 years for us. Also, my wife, 19 years working, and now U.S. citizenship, and for 10 years, we truly are life partners. Yes, that would be for sure long term. Yeah. Hey, hey, what is up? Guys, if you're not subscribed, be sure you subscribe and comment. Although I said that subscribing is not our or my ultimate goal, it's your comment and satisfaction. Really, not really, but it helps, guys. Just being here. She said, maybe I can start a new career in YouTube in the Philippines and make money in retirement. That's a thought, but nah, no, no, it can't be that goal. Not even if you get the subscribers and the views, and they'll feed you at the beginning and the views to maintain is something different, and there's no money in it. So money should never be the goal for YouTube. They said that in both Google events. Only a few raised their hands that were really making any decent money out of everybody sitting there. They were doing it because it's like us. It's like a hobby, and it's just something we're doing. You have to like doing it. That guy that we were talking about, what was his name? Feature? There was no profit forever and he did big content with millions of views because by the time you put back in the production at his size, there just wasn't any money. He said it, you have to love doing it, and there might be a love-hate relationship. Then you got people like sick grandpa that just does it just to screech out loud and a look at me situation. He's looking for friends. He's desperate. That type of channel, and then you put in the levels, some of the other ones, there's different levels of YouTube, and usually George wouldn't let me talk about that either. And so when you have a channel like that, and it gives me an opportunity to say, like Andy was out there, which we haven't seen in a while. He would cover content about us and others and people that he felt. He covered Mark Thornton, he covered Tim Kay, and he's entertaining and informative, and he has tried to put what he thought the wrongs into rights. He was a different type of channel. um, there are some things I would agree and some things I would disagree. And then you have Dirty Grandpa and Sick Grandpa, or whatever his name, I call him Dirty, or some of these other that do these channels that are just dark, that really have no purpose at all. They're just out there. They're bored, double toxic vloggers that I just don't get it. So is he making money? Yeah, evidently he is. He's one of those that'll say, "Hey, I don't need the money," but he takes in the sticker money, makes a few hundred a month. But it's it's for, I don't know, but it's not, it's, you have to like it. You really, really do, and it's not for everybody. And the 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 YouTube situation by the moment is really a changing thing. She said it's 8,000 for the house. I wonder what. Oh, you talking about the Filipina P? Yeah, she gave a whole different number when she broke the whole thing down. So yeah, for the land and everything. Yeah. Well, that probably be about right. Filipina P lied about the cost of the house because she doesn't want to know the subscribers to know how well she does for the channel. Yeah, I mean, it would take a blind person to not know. I mean, I went to go read the comments, and like I said, it blew my mind. I only went through part of her comments and was up to 3,000 in sticker money. She showed a few items in the background, claimed she could do 70 bags out of it. An idiot could have seen there's no way. I don't know what kind of bag she could have done that many of them out of what she had. And then she said she gave all those away. And but yet, and then went on a jeepney, said she was only giving them out to certain people, and they lost their mind because they were in costumes and ended up with 3,000 minimally inside of the comments, not Patreon or PayPal or anything else. Of course they don't. It's kind of the name of the game. I know with us, with PayPal stickers, everything that we get each year, we've been pretty much open on that, and we haven't seen a year higher than 6,000 US. And we've been here 4 years. It took us 2 years. So we've made less than 12,000 in a few years on YouTube. That's all together. That's without paying for the editing software. We pay for StreamYard at $25 a month. The electricity, we've, replaced equipment. And so technically we probably lost half of that in just dealing with different things. So, but for her, I'm sure it's a whole different level. I mean, I think she's got more than one assistant. A second win. I thought in the end she said it was 70,000. I didn't hear anything about eight. By the time she added in, yeah, I think I thought it was 13,000, but it was eight for the house without the land and furnishings. But I think by the time and I think she said that eight was the basic amount. I think then she added the labor. I think that was material, because I could have sworn she said it was 60 or 70,000 in the end with furnishings. I'd have to watch, but I mean, I don't think it's, yeah. Uh, Heidi, the offer's still open if you want to sing. We need to. I know we talked about that. The land's 4,000, the house. Okay. there's a conversation with Dan and them on the price of that because I think I'm going to wrap this up. Geechee, I stopped following all the Filipino vloggers and I watch a few occasionally. I certainly don't watch the P. I hear you. I would imagine so. Michael from that Philippine Live, at the bar, the Canadian Beaver. I will say he's the same on camera as in person. He seems that way. I don't see in any manner that I think he doesn't act the same, you know, because he's not. I don't see where he's, oh, this is perfect and this is that. He does tend to talk about things on the side. And I got to give it to him for running the business with that, the single girlfriend with the baby, or I called her baby, with the daughter. So he's kind of doing the family life on top. So it was like instant family, the bar, YouTube. So there's a lot going on. Yes, we were talking about the exports earlier. Yeah, so it's like you're trying to stop the growth with birth control. Now that it's stopping, then the world will be short on people to help, which is your greatest export. And then you'll have to hold them here to do regular jobs, but there's not jobs here anyway. So you mess with something that was. hmm, You can buy a 35 square inch meter MIPA hut perhaps for 8,000, which don't include land. Yeah, so I she did sit down and take a breakdown of it. So when she broke it all down, I'm pretty sure it didn't end up at that higher amount, which 60 for that, even for that, would have been about right with the land, 60,000 USD, which is still really cheap compared to the US. Correct. How would the Philippine government monitor or implement such an anti-scamming law? They're not in, they, I don't know, but they did. That was the Rafi Tulfo we did on the last live stream, and they implemented that in July. And the guy met a girl on a dating site within a 2 month period. It was I love yous, and he sent her 4,000 because the mother needed money to pay for the vendor of the sorry store. The vendor happened to be a relative, and allegedly he sent the money to him and he received it, and supposedly he thinks she's being held captive by the family and forced to work to get money from expats, and he believes she's still innocent, and he had all kinds of things going on with this lonely guy. And that's when they mentioned the law, and I was like, yeah, I knew there was one going to be passed, but they did officially pass it. But I kind of asked George, I was like, don't they already kind of do something about that? And you're right. How are they going to implement it? I guess the cases just go through cybercrime and NBI, and there's so much of it now. I think it's like all the other laws; they just make the laws to actually seem like there's something being done, but I don't. Good morning, LG. I stopped watching the P over a year ago. It's like she's reading a script. And she's speaking is not speaking conversational, seems like she's reading a textbook. And who talked like that? Yeah, it's hard for me because it's the way she does that. I get the condescending thing almost too, and I get that I am, but it's if it's going to be scripted and you're trying to do the simping thing and all that, you don't need somebody talking to you 100% like your mother, like she does. It's kind of like she goes in, who else could do that but you? See you next time in the Philippines. And I'm like, it's just too it's I can't even begin, but sometimes it does seem a little. But see, that's what me and George, the one thing that we have is we're not we've got so many things in common. Like, the board games, the cooking, the travel, the music, certain shows we like together. And the one thing with both of us, we're both cancer. Both of us are born in July. We're hypersensitive. We both can pretty much break somebody down in a short period. Like we just like, oh, well, this person's going through this, and that. We're people readers, and also I do like tarot cards and all this for those that have known our channel for a while. But George will analyze every single thing inside and out. You guys have seen him on there, and it's a good thing and a bad thing that we both do. And it's just when I start watching a channel, I like a little bit of change. Like you'll see us where we do the Ricky or where I do that other character. We might just do the eating outs, or we cover Rafi Tufos now, or we cover what's going on with the other expats and or the pets or something. I got to have some sort of change. It's I can't actually stay on the same thing, but her, it just seems scripted and where she talks, the way she talks. Ah, wow, Sarah. Sarah said Filipino love scam my dad for 800 plus a month. Mm. It's mostly because they're lonely. And I don't know if you heard me say earlier, for those that are still here, it is a matter of the scenario would go is a lot of people deny it. We all start out at some point of our day and we go through our Facebook, we go through our Instagram, we go through the social media, and it's like, hey, there's my friends. And wow, did they get a new car? Oh, that's nice. Is that a new ring she's got on? Oh, okay. And then you're going through and you see somebody else. So people go through these different emotional stages going through their social media and all that. Once they're in some sort of way, if you don't get out and go do something and interact with doing your everyday life, then the people kind of go into where they're lonely. And at that point, they're looking for a hit of dopamine on YouTube or Instagram. And they're like, well, I'm not going to get much attention from them on Instagram or Facebook. So they go through YouTube and they hit the live streams and they start dropping money on these girls to get some of that attention. And then it said, next thing you know, they're on fans only, getting a little bit of taste, a little something, something, and then they're rubbing one out on the X site. So it's they're all doing this for some sort of loneliness hit of like social media is just a trip. So kind of went through talking about that earlier. 1 second. Ah, I just feel like I've got like some allergy thing going on since a Pekingese. That's it. Thank you, Second Wind. My mind isn't always working, so LG, did she ever do live streams? No, I haven't seen that P do any live streams. What's the schedule? Schedule's been pretty much the same. So everything is going to for a few months now, except for like near Christmas, we said we were going to change some, but then we never did. So it is going to be the same. Philippines time, going to still be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And then I think that is, I might go to Mondays so there one falls on the weekend for people because right now we're missing the weekend thing. So I might actually, now that I'm thinking about it, write it down because we used to be on Sundays or Saturday, but it'll be the same 3 days. So, and then we'll be posting videos in between, and then on the American Expat Woman channel. I'll probably go back to what I used to do. That was me that sat down and do the expat help videos. They just don't go anywhere on this channel. It's people that are with us now want the instant thing, the instant interactions with answering questions about living here. So the live stream will run through both channels. Like right now, there are people watching us on the other channel. So we're just going to, we'll be still going out and doing things and resorts, and it'll be both channels. But Pekingese, yeah, that's what she is. But she's not growing. That's it. That's as big as she's getting. She's getting heavier. I got to stop feeding her the little pieces of wheat toast in the morning, and she doesn't get much more than that. But Pekingese, yes, couldn't figure out what she was in the beginning. But George, when he got her for Christmas, said that they told her one that she didn't have papers because um, she wasn't a pure breed. And I was like, well, is it because of certain ones? Because there's there's the Shih Tzus. There's certain ones that have papers, and others because of the type ones they could still be like full bred of what they are. And he goes, no, they said something else was the deal with her. And then I think it was Victoria or somebody was like, oh, you know what? She looks like she's And I was like, yeah, I was thinking that too. That face and even her hair. And then I found one that was mixed just like her. And then sure enough, she's a spitting image of those. So she's so stinking cute. I'm mad at him sometimes for getting the dog because I used to have a baby Chihuahua years ago and they were work. And she's okay work. Like I get her ready every morning and brush her hair and clean her face because like you got to keep the bacteria out her face. And like between her dog food and her, we use pee pads because she goes in and out, and like her cloths to clean her face and everything. Right now, it's about $90 just for her food, the pads, items to take care of her, her vitamins. And I'm like, dang you, George. So, but she's really sweet. She's a good baby. Um, let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys. I don't mess. Nope, you're not gonna be able to see. Where'd she go? There she is here behind the camera. Hi, sweetie. She's laying on her little blanket, all of her toys, the cat toys and everything. So, but all right, I'm gonna skim through these guys and then I got to scoot. I usually bust George's chops for um hanging in here this long. I'll be organizing the kitchen the rest of the way because so many of the shelves have been moved around, and I'm gonna make him some bacon. I know I hold this pencil, my little basket of meds there. It's my vitamins. Yeah, them are the soy pills and magnesium and zinc and all of that. So let's see. P be like Bookham Dano. Yeah. Endless boomer pop culture reference. Yeah, always wondered if those actually come from her. No, she makes a lot of reference to American culture quite a bit. I think it's how she's built a lot of her channel and a lot of the things she watched. She really is versed in that as much as George. And I think her first trip was just recently to the US. I love you both and your channel. Don't dare change it. Yeah, we've been pretty consistent. I figured just the live streams were, more about the better thing to actually do. Yeah, just leave it there till I adjust it. No, I put that there. Take my vitamins in the morning. Sing it, girl. Oh, so then I am really behind. Sorry, guys. We had viewers. LG said 150 people. No, actually, I do. It's really rough. I was kind of tearing up this morning. Um, it's I just can't see. We even discussed getting rid of it, and he said, "Don't do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but then, you know, it's just hard. I don't want to do it without him." And we discussed just leaving YouTube around all the way around. I said, "Yeah, but what about the times you're working and I'm just sitting here? I mean, I can only clean so much. I'm not going to go hang out at the mall and spend money." I said, It's what I actually do. And I'm now just honing in on my skills. And I'm not, after all we've been through with the channel, it would be really rough just to give it up. So we like it. He'll be back in here. Hey, Ralph. What is going on? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Ruby says, I wonder if you can stipulate prenuptial agreement that there won't be any children in the marriage. If she does, yeah, no inheritance. I don't know. That's a good possibility. I hear you on that. Geechee, send me an email because I was talking about bringing in some co-hosts and doing different things. Any of the vloggers that have any updates or anything interesting. We do get things from people. It's just been um, a matter of There's a what is it that John Wayne, I'm gonna make a John Wayne reference. What does he say? There's a new sheriff in town or something, because I love George. He's the one thing he wanted to do, like when I talked about, sick grandpa and stuff, he'd have been like, "Hey, hey, hey," and before the trolls used that on me by saying, "You better get your woman under control. You better listen to her." No, he's the only one that stopped this train, and if it's within legal limit, I'm gonna say it, because I'm not afraid of any of those guys, and he wants, now don't get me wrong, George is a rattlesnake now. He will bite, just like I'm just biting all the time. My venom's there all the time. But I'm just of a nice person as I put out that venom, and vice versa with George. That snake bites. So I just the one only good thing I can really see that's going to come out of this is I'm going to have more of an opportunity to do some of the topics I want. I'm still going to run and by him. He's pretty much just giving me full range to use the channel now. And so before we would have made basic decisions, but he has slowed down in the last year. So most of the topics, ideals, and all that have been me anyway. So when you get comments answered, it's been both of us, but for the most part, it's been me. So it'll be interesting how this actually spins out. Is he a disgruntled American? Oh, you guys are talking about, all right, so I see where that's coming from. John Hobbs talking about the guy, your people, Ricky drama is legit. Oh, are you talking about, yeah, is that what he calls himself also? He has two names, correct? So Joyson, I would either bet you're one or three people, and that's fine. I think you're still him trying to say something. Don't care. Next, Ricky Drama is legit. Legit for what? I mean, I guess nobody's legit. To be honest, none of these channels are. So he can get his numbers however he gets them. He could say whatever he's actually saying, and that's fine as long as he stays in his lane. And I will legitly tell him, stay in your lane. So, and I mean that. I doubt I ever see the man, and it wouldn't make a difference even if I seen the man. So it's what he does. I mean, he snaps at every single vlogger like he's gonna bow up and jump on him and stuff. And he makes a lot of stuff up, and it's just a no nonsense channel, and people may see ours the same way. So he can just stay in his lane. I don't care what he's saying. We don't watch him, and we were told about three other channels that tried to use us based on the Mark Thornton thing, and I went to only one of their channels, looked and seen his numbers and seen that he was a YouTuber, and he did the exact same thing. He built all of his vlogging off of other vloggers and had no original thoughts in his head. So even though he tried to use our name, I don't care if he uses our name. So just get over yourself. The man is broken. So, and so is Ricky. Ricky, whatever, sick grandpa or whoever. Don't care. I would not leave this guy. Oh, yeah, probably. Ricky Drama got kicked out of Sullivan's pub. Yeah, he's just a drunk old man. I mean, he clearly drinks on air. I've seen a few of his vlogs. But then after he stuck to the same people, I think a lot of people have seen him in the feed like they've seen Andy. Not blind to it. We stopped watching, I don't know, probably we didn't watch it even on a regular basis. So, but I know that when I've seen him appear, that's what he is. He's drunk all the time. He's had girls on his shows, he's up in bars, he's walking around, and he wants that serious reaction out of people. And I don't care. I always say, as long as you ain't putting your hands on me, go ahead. Have at it. You probably, if I had to guess, what? Something about my weight, something else? I don't know. He's an idiot and he's desperate. So he can take that to the bank. All the way to the bank for content. I would not leave this guy around young kids, seriously. Getting old like me, then you can have cataract surgery. I have laser back in '06. Older you get with that, closer it's hard to read. Yeah. Ruby says she'll do the I'll buy me a margarita. I hear you. Good morning, Heidi. Any New Year's resolution? No alcohol for me this year. Um, Not really. I mean, I last year and I think every year for me is to try to do a little bit more as far as cutting out things that'll help with my inflammation, some weight loss. The weight loss is not without trying. I've been way bigger and I've been way smaller. So I've lost weight since last year throughout the year. So the harder I try, I don't lose. And then when I'm just cutting out anyways and cut back, I did anyway. So I already gave up alcohol. I'm not smoking. These are two major accomplishments. I'm taking more vitamins. So it's an attempt to be healthier. And so yeah, that's about it. Yeah. I asked if there's an equivalent of 911 in the Philippines and was told not. No, there's a 911 for sure. There's not. You can dial. I've done it. 911 exists here. So when I had that bleed out in Angel City, you can. I think it's literally just 911. Best to go to emergency yourself. Yeah. Even here in the city with all the hospitals. Okay, I that's Curtis saying that he's saying in Laguna, that it was free. He said he gave them for food or drinks. So I will ask George. I'm still not aware in the Angel City Mabalacat that it's just free if I randomly call. So okay. Maybe ambulances are free in some provinces. Heard barangay is having ambulances, basically vans. Yeah, so maybe the barangay captains and areas call them, and then whoever owns it that were, given money to purchase them, for that area might be an individual. So lupus can be very serious, and it is. I don't have a light case or a partial case. It affects everything. I have asthma attacks all the time. Being out in the heat or the sun really does break me out, like really bad. Definitely kidney issues that have dropped me to the floor since I've been here. I have to increase fluids. I get swelling all over my body, my knees, arms, joints, everything. I really do have a hard time. And by the way, for those that don't know, my daughter that's in her 30s was diagnosed about 2 years ago. So it can run in the family. It's very rare, but she has a really bad case. Same thing. It affects everything. I'm tired by 12 o'clock, and usually at 12:01, I just start to get exhausted. So everything that I do for the most part is in the first half of the day. I used to have to take naps, but I don't right now, but I may fall asleep at 7 o'clock. I'm up at 4 or 5. So it's a different thing. So if I'm having pain, my joints and everything, but it's also a maintenance thing. So, I'm not smoking. I don't drink alcohol. I don't sit around eating bags of chips and salty items all the time. Do I have fried chicken? Yeah. Do I eat some fast food? Yes. But I don't eat it in large amounts where it affects me. And except for it's not exactly the healthiest, but I do take some precautions. So that's what this year's about is losing more weight and being more and more mobile because as of about 2 years ago here, I was in a wheelchair and I haven't used the wheelchair all year. So it's a great ultimate goal. I don't want to be David Campbell, where I have to be in it when there's an ability to get up and move. So I figure being more mobile is better. The pets are helping. So my goal is maybe to walk with her more. like to take the dog out and do that type of thing. So I answered that earlier. I know that I'm a behind. He has this the whole operation is an online business. He has the ability to sell things online, but we have 8 channels altogether. So I'm actually with the American Expat Woman, which used to be our pet channel, the Philippine Antics, the 2 music channels, and there are other ones that we will not mention. So for good reason. It's an AI gaming channel. So and besides that, he has online sales job, and so we're not talking like call center. We're talking like he does some servicing things, selling things through Amazon and some others. So yeah, it's just that he wants to do savings. He no longer wants it to be where he's just going to wait for the Social Security coming in and let the money dwindle. He's trying to be responsible and holding on to just doing YouTube that pays 3, 4, or 500 a month tops. It's, we had discussed it a long time ago, especially I think he's starting to feel that urgency with age that, savings, more savings, because we've both over the years had some. It's just, it didn't stick around. So life happened. So, uh, no, but he's still here and he will be. You'll probably see him with outings. And so it'll be more like the other expat channels you've seen. For those that didn't hear me say that, it's going to be where literally you're only seeing one or the other, or you'll see us both. Um, uh, yep, sleeping right now. I'm gonna do bacon and eggs here in a little bit. It is Saturday. We're supposed to hit a few stores. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. Could be his fans only. I wouldn't tell you guys. I'm not going to tell you exactly. It's some of the stuff he's doing for that purpose. Could be. It's his fans only. I do. Most of it is at Clark, and there's a couple places here. I forgot the full name of it. It's over there by the loop about and by the mall, British something. It's a clinic that does medical. There's a few of them here that do it. They have a good office that we've used, and doing blood work's fairly inexpensive. It's about my maintenance. The only thing I don't like is I'm on steroids. Without steroids right now, I'd be falling apart. But taking steroids long term, like my mother did with her issues medical, it's also a bad thing, but it's a low dose. So I'm not taking like the recommended. They wanted me on, I think, like 40 milligrams a day, and or 40 grams, 40 milligrams, and I'm like, no way. Rip. Me and George, it would be like Hawk Smash. I've actually adjusted, but I'm on like 10 a day, which is really low dose for somebody with, so there's good and bad about it. But when I don't take it, like I tried skipping it for a few days recently, I couldn't even get out of bed. So it's like my joints hurt that bad. And like my other organs without it, it's crazy. So, but so it's manageable right now as long as I'm taking precaution. If I threw like uncaution and was drinking and smoking and outside all day and just running around ragged and let stress or people get to me, it'd be a lot worse. So, what if life just happens? You almost have to be. Yes, most definitely. I'm reading, kind of skipping through it. Yeah, you're not getting that making it happen. Nice try though. What's the name of his channel? No. That is the whole ideal of having a gaming channel that you guys don't know about. We're not. You realize how many love and hate relationships that we have with people? That's why if we wanted you guys to have the other channels, we would actually list them. So right now we have I don't know if we have the second one listed. I think we have the other 3 currently listed. And the only reason why the one with the name that I'll also be working with that I was going to do the pets with is because it was the pet channel. So it still should be listed in there. So yeah, anonymous. But I will let you know it does take a lot of his time, and he enjoys it, and that's all that matters is what George is enjoying. So he could be. Yeah, that's him, Ruby. There's a few of them, but there is one that is further over here near us in Mabalaka. There's one that like wanders into Angel City, and there's a few of them. There's like three or four of them right now that I know of. There's others, but they're like they hang out there by the park, and then there's the one up here by Dow Gold, and the guy is seen there almost on a daily basis. So, but they don't get deported. They don't do anything about them. The police don't. They want to be here. People keep asking why. There was a whole section of like 100 comments about that one guy several times this past year, and they said he just wants to be left alone. He doesn't want to go back to the U.S. possibly to be homeless. Right. All right, guys. Gina, yes, mixed cultures is part of the issue. Thank God my husband grew up around Filipinos in California. He has the best of both worlds since I am not pure Filipina. My mom lives with us, married for 37 years. Yeah, you guys are a beautiful couple. Pogo clothes, my friends owns. Yeah, Pogo closed. Yeah, my friend owns 2 condos and said rents are going down because closing of the Pogo is shutting down. They're having a hard time with a lot of those condos. I mean, I guess it would depend on the area. I know the rents in Angeles and surroundings and on Clark area is just like going crazy depending on where. But no, they claim they shut that down, but I just seen something in the news that said that they're making exceptions for certain people, but I didn't read the whole article. There was a building, I forgot what they called it, and that better be dog food that you're eating. It's a nasty habit that these little dogs got. I, okay, that's just she takes one piece at a time. A lot of sodium, a lot of sugar. And I really think every time he keeps drinking that Tang, the little instant packets, it's not like the Tang we had as kids where you take a large scoop, which still had the artificial sugar. But here they're in tiny foil packets and they put a lot of that. I think it's aspartame and stuff like that. And I think it's causing part of his issue. But he has to also take his blood pressure pills twice a day. When I met him, his blood pressure was crazy up there, like 220 to over 200, and I don't know how his head didn't explode at that point. So, food and gaming is his weakness, yes, but at least he's not smoking alcohol and gambling or other things. I mean, George reminds me that all the time. He says, "At least I don't have other issues," and, and he's right. I've been married a few times, he has, and, we realize that there's large sacrifices and things, it can be irritating at sometimes, but it's something that I was harsher on him in the beginning. You're talking about busting chops. Because he would just spend so much time that it was really unhealthy where like he wouldn't even move the entire day. And I'm like, you can't do that, babe. But you know, it's just the mothering in me and trying to make sure he's okay. And so I'm just looking. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Guys, I'm talking LG. Does anyone have the schedule of live post? Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you caught that earlier. Yeah, it's been pretty much the same. It says it in the description where which ones were or that I will actually be continuing. So for the US, I guess it would be Sunday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or it's considered Saturday in the Philippines. So Saturday for the Philippines, Friday, and then usually it's Thursday, which is Wednesday in the United States. And then I'm not determining if we're going to continue on Tuesday or if I'm going to bring it back to Monday like we always did. So there's one weekend day. I think I'm going to change it to Monday, but it does say it in the description. And the end lot, like where it talks about us, I think it lists all the days for you too. So it's in there. We've been pretty much on that unless we do just a random. What bank in the Philippines direct deposit from American Money when I retire there? I'm using Philippine National Bank, PNB. If you go to certain states in the United States, you can preset that up. It'll be way easier. If not, you got to wait here, establish residency, and actually do all that when you get here. So you can do that there. Um, Quite a few of the banks do. The only one I can speak of is Metro or the Philippine National Bank, but it takes a little bit. You have to go through Social Security, get their permission. Like you say, hey, here's my information. I'm going to transfer. They send you back the forms, and then you go in. You have to fill out a crap load of paperwork with them. So I still pay my U.S. taxes every year. They do report my income to the IRS. Yes. But just remember, it's different if you start working here or vlogging and all that. And just to leave it at that, you guys need to check with what you're paying, especially if you're online. So, but yeah, you would in general do it back in the U.S. on that manner. Most definitely, Patricia. I love how YouTube lets me see what life is like all over the world. It's fun to interact with people who have similar interests or they're just wanting, yeah, just actually to see what's actually going on. Hey, Woody Lights, what's going on? Hey, you want to come up here, Stinky Bug? Oh, come here. there's my there's my baby Chihuahua. Yeah, see, she got a little bit bigger. See, her tail got thicker. Hi, Mary. Hey, Mary. You see your hair. Get your hair did this morning. You've been over there sleeping. Why are you shaking? Because you don't have your shirt on? Yeah. You want to say hi? I think this is as big as she's going to get. She's not like Baby May's dogs, just a regular Shih Tzu. I don't know, she's really light. I can hold her with one hand. So she's not tiny, tiny, but I don't know. She's definitely under 10 pounds. Probably not even that. I'd probably even say she's about 8. And this is big as she's been this big. So except she's getting a little wider. Say hi, Mary. We named her Mary, Merry, like Merry Christmas, because yes, you want to say hi? Yeah. And with her little short face in the front, I have to clean around her eyes, and we got little combs, but her tail got thicker and darker. That used to be really thin and weird looking, but now it's really thick. But no, we decided to leave a little bit of teddy bear cut on her again. Her hair got cut again, didn't you? Huh? Please? Yeah. Okay, I'll let you down so you can go chase the kitties. She's really good. She doesn't even bark a lot either. Like usually the guy up the street has 2 or 3 dogs like the Shih Tzus in there. They like to bark. She does every now and then when she's actually after the cat. She'll let out a little bark, but she does really good. I would move to the Philippines, but I have been stuck babysitting my mom with dementia. That is a concern for me. My grandmother had dementia, and there is a line of dementia in our family. I have an uncle right now suffering from another form, and that is my concern. Is not having the care or that being George's responsibility. I think that's why also saving money is important for George right now, is for some future care too. So after living here, we're getting a better idea what to do, but at least we're doing something about it. So um, you know, YouTube is still a hobby for us, and it is not a moneymaker, or it's not what appears to be like our life. It's a hobby, it's an interaction, and it makes some money, which helps. But for George, he's still young enough to actually go through and do something. So, oh, I'm not sure. I have not seen the couple with 2 daughters. The man is told the one daughter is a relationship from the dad. Are you talking about Jules in the Philippines, sweetie? He had a Christian channel. Maybe that's the one you're talking about. See, I mean, there's so many of them, but I'm not sure if that's who you're talking about. If I posted my donations to an aged care home for abandoned elderly, would I get similar support from subscribers? Maybe. Are you talking about like if you opened your channel and you mentioned you were doing it? Um, there's a way to actually do it. I wouldn't suggest doing it. I feel like we've done like when we were down on funds and it was easier for me to use the e-trike, or it would have been nice to do it, and we talked to people and we ran something to say, hey, we're trying to get stickers to get an e-trike. I find that even that was kind of pushing it in a sense about the aged care. And you posted that information, and then to get similar support based on that you gave something away, it's probably always better to tell them just to go directly there and get it. Um, but yeah, there's quite a few of them. Hey, Sweet Magic Point, um, Poison, Mother had dementia. Woody Light said sick grandpa must have had a lot of dependents by getting 4,400 a month. Yeah, I'm not sure about that point. So you're saying he's claiming that's what he's getting every month? I don't know what the max is for Social Security, but there is a higher up amount. Maybe he had a way better job. I don't know if he could. I don't even know what family or anything about his life. I could not stay focused on his channel. I can't watch a drunk old man that makes things up and talks to people very, very derogatory. And I just, you have to be in that rare form and like dark trolling and somebody that just makes lies up. It's kind of like when you guys watch um, Regular Guy. I know that he talks about his travels and everything. I think in the beginning he told some sort of stories. It's kind of like I think a lot of the stuff he just goes through and just starts making up. So I'm not sure. And so, but a lot of people like that extra drama. So I can't blame people for watching him. So it's kind of like Andy. It's one of those things. I mean, I am really surprised that he didn't come up out of the woodwork for what's his name dying, but he had his own issues, looks like. So I'm really surprised. But He probably has wife and kids somewhere, would be my guess, yes. Aw. Love my Cocker Spaniel, who's for 15 here human years, knows it won't be long before he leaves me. Been my comfort and relief of my daily stress for all these years. Pets always give us unconditional love. That's that is definitely true. This gives you the other companionship you're needing. The cats do the same. I think too many of them was too much for us, but being a pet lover is one of the things me and George really connected on. George wants you to get some of that simple money. Gotcha. I would rather hear scratching on a blackboard than Geo the simp talk. I hear you. Some people would say that about our channel. When I think about Andy Omar and Expat Trash that used to exist, and some of these other channels that go into the full drama and attacking and claiming they're going to wipe people out and all this stuff, they won't watch our channel. They'll watch theirs, or vice versa. They won't, watch us, but they watch Geo and then watch Andy. And it's everybody. I think it's like cable TV. I think it's about the entertainment, and that's what he does. He's trying to be entertaining at the same time as he's, you know, all of it. So it's all right, guys. Hey, hi, Victoria. Was visiting mom and dad. Hey, Victoria. You can do Tuesday if there is a big topic worthy of discussion. I think your schedule looks good for all. Okay. Well, that's what we've been doing. So it'd been Tuesday for Monday, Thursday in the Philippines is Wednesday, and then Saturday is Friday. So was kind of trying to move either a day into the weekend. And over the last year or two, we've adjusted days based on George doing things too. So you guys could see we've been moving things, and we were discussing early on either cutting down. It was based on this. So yeah, we should have the Ricky videos in the next day or two. He's editing. This channel has grown watcher wise. Well, some days it's high numbers, sometimes it's low. We've been around for 4 years. I think people are really getting tired of the other channels. The scripted, the ones repeating everybody's stuff, the ones that aren't even here and repeating the stuff, the ones that aren't living what they're saying, pretending their relationships are all good, and then there's all kinds of stuff. There's other reasons, and then I can't keep it buttoned up. So you guys are just going to hear stuff in between. And I think even though there's a love hate thing for me, I think it's just where it's at. I just saw a video about a very nice nursing home in Thailand, very affordable care for people with dementia. I think it was founded by Australian. Gotcha. The loony sick grandpa, hey Cody Williams, has claimed he gets 7 grand from a military accident, and he took the bigger amount short term that ends soon. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're entertaining. How much you can believe from him, Andy Omar, some of these other channels that I can't even begin to tell you. Again, they're entertaining, but it's I I is all I can say. Mexico is getting more expensive like everywhere else. I figured it was. It's been a few years since we've been there. But I know the Philippines, as far as electricity and them, some of them other things are still higher than Mexico. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I am 3.5 hours in, and it's time to get him up and get some food going. So, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and be sure to consider memberships. There's different levels of memberships. There's a bunch of other videos. There's photos of our past and everything. And we'll be adding more stuff to it. It helps support the channel and now officially supports George's habits and my habits. So thank you guys, and thank you to our moderators and our members. All the contact information is in the description, Philippine Antics at Gmail, and through Facebook Messenger. And we do have TikToks and all that. We've had them for a while, guys. So, but we appreciate you guys, and I will say my good nights. Thank you, Ruby. God bless, guys, and I will get the Ricky videos going, and we'll get those up too. So, all right, guys, we will talk to you later. Bye, guys.